Welcome to the Dumb4Real podcast. We're here with Defective Dagger today. Welcome, Bradley.
Hello. It's an honor to be on here.
Is it?
Yeah. You've
Yeah.
been waiting for 4 fucking years to be on this shit.
Episode 25. I think.
Hey, it's okay. Hey, you know what they say, better late than never.
Yeah. Episode 25.
Unlike
This
a
is the
certain
season
someone.
finale of a typical anime.
Yeah.
We finally
we-
get to,
Who's developed their character the most during?
it'll be Bradley and Anthony and Seb, who unfortunately we were trying to get on here, but we couldn't because
He's got a job.
he has to work.
Yeah.
And it's really hard kind of making a schedule around people that work. So especially when we have a lot of people that we want to be on the podcast. But it's all right.
Yeah.
But you were at Korea Uprising, the three of you, Seb, Anthony, Noot.
Yep.
Wait, Seb, Noot, DD. Yeah. So, why did you go in the first place? Like, what spurred it? You were just like, oh, Korea, farming.
This started at the Sydney airport, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Actually.
because
You
'Cause me and
you had flight vouchers. Then you they wanted to travel, right? You explain.
yeah, we were looking. We had flight vouchers from our first when we were gonna go to America at the start of the year, but then America got hit by the huge COVID wave and all the majors got cancelled, so we just didn't go. So we had flight vouchers, so we were looking for other places to go in the world, and we were going to go to Europe. We were thinking Europe just because, all the other Australians were going there. Seems like a decent idea. But then flights were $3,500. So we decided that wasn't ideal. And so we looked at some other places. We looked at America again. We looked at even just like a vacation in Singapore. And then eventually we just saw Korea had like $950 flights. So we're like, hold on a second. Let's just go to Uprising. So yeah, we just kind of decided in the airport within like 2 hours that we were going to go to Uprising.
Yeah, I suggested it, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, why don't I just go as well? Because I was just trying to find a place for them, where we could go, and so happened to be a gold event was happening in Korea, and Korea was always a place that, Seb wanted to go. I'd love to go to Korea as well, and it was all our first time there,
Yeah.
and it definitely ended up being worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the stay there. I actually enjoyed it more as a tourist than as a Smash player.
Yes,
kind of.
same.
Like I just really genuinely enjoyed staying there.
Have you done much international travel before, Bradley? Or like
Beside
between
that
Asian countries?
time,
Or
no, this is my first time going out of the country by myself without my family.
with that case?
And the only other time I went was when I went to Evo in 2019.
Yep.
So I've only been out of country twice, and this was my first time
Damn.
without family. So it was a bit scary.
Did you get any culture shock personally, or?
Not really. I think like the biggest culture shock I had was you don't have to press the buttons for the the pedestrian lights, like the traffic light.
Dude, I love
We-
slapping the shit out of that in Melbourne.
That's funny.
Yeah, we were doing that when we were there, and we kind of just realized that it's like you're not meant to do it. You're only meant to do it because it just reads out when you're allowed to go for people who are visually impaired. So we were just doing it at every traffic light for like the first 2 days.
Because it doesn't make the sound actually when the light is green. There's no like. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
sometimes I'll be looking at my phones and I'm looking at my phone, right, and I'll listen to the sound cue when I'm meant to cross, but I like look up and I'm like, oh, people started walking already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a few things like that. The food, quite definitely gave me like a shock. I was kind of scared because I'm not usually a big fan of Asian food. Like I'm pretty picky eater. So when I went there, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll eat everything I'm able to eat. I might just have to resort to Western food, worst case scenario. But there was literally no Western food anywhere, and thankfully I really enjoyed the food there. So
Yeah.
there was no problem anyway.
And look, if you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, if you go somewhere overseas, that's a completely different culture and not not have the food there, especially because the food that you'll be used to in like Asian countries will generally be very subpar. Anyways,
Oh, dude, I mean, tell me about it. Like, we got pizza once, and like actually just put me in the bathroom the whole day. It was
Yeah.
so awful to eat as well.
yeah,
Got Chicago pizza. You know the deep pan
Deep
pizza.
fried, really thick, cheesy
Like,
pizza.
oh, it was terrible. Like,
man.
oh, Seb, why did you do this to me?
Dude, the
But you
Korean
put-
Macca's, bro. Korean Macca's.
Seb was the only person to have Korean Macca's. And that was
Yeah.
when me and Anthony did a bit of exploring at Namsan Park, but we can get into that a bit later.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just get into
We
it
do it now, yeah. So like,
Yeah, I
that's
guess
the
we can.
park was like
What's Namsan Park?
just a
It's
it's a big fuck.
Is it the
What's the
goat?
park called in New York? What's that? It's like
like central.
Central Park, but like it's more of a national park. Like it's like it's on a hill. It's more nature to it.
As in Namsan.
Yeah,
Namsan.
Namsan.
Yeah, and that's where Seoul Tower is, right? You know Seoul Tower.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
at the top,
okay, I get you.
at the top of the hill. It's
Yeah,
Seoul
yeah,
Tower.
okay,
It's
cool.
like a massive just fuck off park in the city.
That's awesome.
I think
It
the
is-
park was around 10 kilometers, like in diameter. It was a huge
Yeah,
park. It
yeah.
would take you 2 hours to walk
This is
through
a
it
very famous
easily.
park. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
And
I can
and
see
climbing up to the top of the tower, I did a bit of research. It was roughly 600 meters.
That's
So
awesome.
it was
looks
like
awesome.
yeah, it was super cool. And me and Anthony, well, we were there with Seb as well, but Seb had to drop out halfway
Yeah.
through because he was just feeling a bit like unwell of walking so much. That's
Yeah,
like fair
fair
enough. But yeah, me and Anthony we just kept walking. There was like no stopping basically,
Yeah,
and we
I mean,
just
there
walked
were-
for like 6 hours, 7
Yeah,
hours.
there were people like up there walking, like a fair few people. But then once we got up to like the Seoul Tower area, where it's just like a fully developed like area. It's like there's like fucking hundreds of people there, shops everywhere. Like apparently they had the best burgers there ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Luggy
We
told
didn't
us.
get the burgers,
Yeah,
but
because
we found out after they were goaded.
Yeah, like churros, soft serves, and then like obviously they have the famous like the the love locks.
Oh, yeah,
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 yeah.
like they have on the France river
Yeah,
and stuff. Like
apparently
that.
in France they've thrown them in the river or something, but like they just put it around the fence up top there.
Mm.
Did you do one?
No,
No,
maybe we should have done one. That would have been kind of cool.
maybe you and Seb should have done one. Would have run doubles.
he counted
Damn.
out. I couldn't do
Anthony
it. with
third
him.
wheeling.
Yeah. Oh, but even those locks, they rust after like 6 months. I was looking at like some of these rusty ones. I'm like, what? This is only like 6 months ago because it's like rains all the time. Obviously
Yeah.
up there.
November 2021, and it's
but
just
no,
like
but
on the verge of dying.
Even also on the way, right? There's like a history museum, like about the the Korean Revolution,
independence of Korea.
yeah, independence of South Korea, and like it's just like I just can't believe like how like cool it was in general.
Mm. And there were so many statues as well, just like walking around, and you would
Yeah.
you would walk up heaps of these steps. There was like 150 steps, and you got up, and there were just these two huge statues, and I don't really know the historical importance of them, but they just looked so cool, and they had them everywhere. No matter like everywhere you went, just had a cool statue.
Nice.
Obviously, there was plenty of like views like of the city. We got we got plenty of photos. Like it overlooked like all of the city, but as I found out, like Seoul is just so huge. It's so,
just like-
it's like
a mega
it was
city.
incomprehensible to me, like how
Yeah.
big Seoul was compared to like Melbourne. Melbourne's a fucking speck. Like it's so
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah. I want to say Seoul was like between 50 and 100 kilometers wide. It was
Yeah.
just massive. It would take you like considering that I think the speed you could go on the roads was like 40 kilometers an hour, 50, maybe 60 at max. It would probably take you like 3 hours to drive through Seoul from one side to the other.
Jesus.
And it's
I
like,
reckon longer. I reckon longer because some of the traffic.
Yeah.
Remember the
Yeah.
traffic? The one day we went to try to go see the light show.
yeah.
605 kilometers squared.
Yeah,
Was PTV good and cheap?
9.7 million.
it was cheap. PTV was good. It was like it's mainly
Yeah,
buses,
that's
right?
solid.
But they came like all the time. Even
Every
like
5 minutes, 4 minutes.
yeah, like we kind of got lost after Namsan Park. Remember we just ended up in that place like where the
Yeah.
protest.
We got to the what was it like? It's like Gwangyam Square or something like that. I don't know how
Yeah,
to pronounce it, but it was like a big
What is-
square next to a huge palace, and we accidentally joined a protest. I think I don't really know
awesome.
what was happening.
Yeah, there's people everywhere. Like yeah, but
Yeah.
it's thankfully not too hard to like a lot of it is westernized. Luckily, I mean, like there was like there was still like quite a few tourists. You could see.
Have you guys been to
Yeah.
Japan?
Never, but
I think it would be very similar of an experience. Tokyo is massive as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it
apparently
probably-
I saw that. Yeah, Seoul. I think Seoul has around 10 million people. I was like, well, damn, this has to be one of the biggest cities in
Yeah,
the world.
Seoul has 9.7
Tokyo
million.
has, I think, 40 million people.
Yeah,
So, like,
Tokyo.
is
No,
like,
no, no. Tokyo does not have 40 million, but it has it has 13. It has almost 14 million.
Okay, I thought I saw. Maybe I read that wrong on Wikipedia.
You probably read something else, like the elevation,
Another
40 meters.
another crazy thing about not Tokyo, sorry, Seoul just having so many people is no matter where you went, the population was just so like is dense the word I'm looking for? It was just
dense. Yeah.
everywhere you went, it was
A lot
just
of people.
packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of actually realize it actually says a lot about Australia, because Australia is massive. Like, the land we have is huge, but we
Yep.
just don't have that many people.
Well,
So-
we just have
and
to
it's
have
also
livable
'cause-
areas. Yeah.
Yeah. Our land you just can't live on half the places.
Oh,
It's too dry.
I mean,
80% of
Mostly.
places, low key.
It's
I mean,
too dry. There's too many rivers that are just not really good. There's a lot of flooding issues. It's just the land mass isn't really good for us.
we can get into geography another day, but like definitely like in Asian countries, it's very like central. Like there is just like a whole bunch of fucking people in tight spots. Like,
Yeah,
you
I'm
look
sure
at
Hong Kong's similar to this as
Hong
well.
Kong
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
is tiny, but like
Yeah.
this fucking little city has like so many people in it too, and it's just so dense. That's why you will find typically in Asian countries, building landscapes go vertically, not horizontally.
Yeah,
you know?
we did notice that.
Yeah.
There was a very heavily
and
terrain.
you'll notice it in Tokyo as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Uh,
not a
another
single
thing
house.
oh yeah, another thing that kind of took us by shock was just the pricing of everything.
Just cheap.
That
I mean,
yeah,
it did take me by shock because I've been totally like I
You have
came from Thailand,
experience. You have experience,
so
right?
like where things are cheaper there, but like I suppose even like from a soup because like Seoul's like a major city, it's a developed country, Korea, right? I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is still a lot better than Australia, what we have, right?
yeah. And the main reason it was so good is because our currency is almost 1-to-1 with the Korean won. It's like a little bit in the won's favor, but their minimum wage is so much lower than ours that all of their stuff is cheaper. So when we convert all of our currency to them, it's not like we're losing too much money, but because everything is so much cheaper because their wage is like lower, we just got so much like benefit from it. And yeah, you could go out and get like yourself a full proper dinner for $10, $15 max. Like we went out to Korean barbecue and we got a full Korean barbecue, 2 servings of meat, everything, like multiple beers, multiple sojus. It was like $28 each.
One Korean won is
No, it should be.
No.
You don't
it's-
look at $1 Australian. It should be around
Yeah,
$921.
do it $1 and it should be like 900 won. Because 1,000 won is basically the equivalent of $1.
2 Korean 943 Korean won.
Yes,
well, stronger
but that's
than
not like 94
what we had
cents.
last time.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you get a lot of fucking food
But that was
for very little,
experience.
which I think is probably like an incredibly ridiculous
Yeah.
deal. Because when I went to Japan, it wasn't necessarily like that cheap. Like, it was
Apparently,
just very.
apparently it's very good right now. Yeah.
Right now, probably you'd fucking think
Yeah.
with like the trajectory of the fucking world.
Mhm.
Yeah. Overall, pretty good fucking experience, right?
Yeah,
That's-
we went
Yeah,
to
it
like
was-
lots of different suburbs. We went to like I think Hongdae is the coolest like
Yeah,
district
Hongdae
area.
was really
It's
cool.
like kind of like a cool cool nightlife like
Me
good food
and
places.
Anthony.
That's where Core A was as well.
How's
So,
can I ask how's the coffee in Korea?
Oh yeah, true.
Oh,
It was
I'll
fine.
be
It was-
honest, I only got coffee once outside of Starbucks. Everything else was just Starbucks.
Well,
I had
that's not
coffee.
real coffee.
I had coffee
so-
Not
3
real
different
coffee.
times. Well, I went to like a Starbucks or like a general coffee place 3 separate times. And the first time I just got their signature chocolate blend, and that might be like the best chocolate drink I've ever
You
had.
can't so Starbucks is not really good because that is literally a global. It's
Yeah, but
it's
that was like our only
globalized.
experience.
It's popular. It is
there's-
popular in Korea. Though.
There's obviously different. It will have to be. It's incredibly popular in countries that aren't fucking Australia. So if Starbucks doesn't fail, but it's very unsuccessful in Australia because coffee culture is the best in the world, right?
Yeah.
So it is incredibly popular in places like Korea or Japan, etc., because they don't really have that. But surprisingly, I just asked curiously because when I went to Japan, when I went to some cafes, I was very surprised. It was just it tasted nice, I was like, this is just
Good coffee.
it's not necessarily the blend or the beans themselves, but it did taste really, really nice.
I think it's more catered to what I like, but I don't think actual true coffee lovers would love Asian coffee, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think Connor would be a fan of
I was
this stuff.
actually
But
really
it feels more less mature taste, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Oh, it's just sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet,
Really.
obviously.
The mocha I
I-
had was just it was fine.
I was actually a
was-
fan of Vietnamese coffee when I went over to Vietnam.
Okay.
But
Vietnamese
I don't
coffee is
think I
also
could-
sweet.
I don't think I can drink it every single day like I do Melbourne coffee.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
use condensed milk.
Oh,
pretty sure.
the goat. Yeah.
Maybe it's because we've got more livestock that's nearby, like cows and that it's our coffee tastes a bit better, or maybe not better, but different to theirs. Because they probably have to import a lot of stuff into Korea because they don't really have. I don't think they have much farming there.
Mm,
Just rice.
Probably
we
use
really
a lot
can't
of
say, right?
They probably use a lot
Mm.
of alternatives in foreign countries.
Yeah, but
I have a
Yeah.
question there.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, kind of.
Nightlife.
Oh,
yeah.
well, honestly, I don't think we went out too often at night. We went out a lot to
Really?
just go get dinner, but
You didn't
there was
hit the town with the clubs or anything one night, or no?
there was one night we kind of did, but it was a bit different because we went to. This was after Seoul Smash, the first monthly we went to. Then we went out to Korean barbecue, and then afterwards we went out to karaoke, and that was really cool. I really
Oh
liked.
yes, yeah.
And then
Well-
afterwards, seven Lucky, they went to go to another bar, and we were going to join them, but honestly, me and Anthony were feeling kind of dead.
I also was gonna shit myself as well. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
the runs,
That was so
the
sad,
runs.
yeah. And then I remember we were walking forever. We
We
walked
were
to the
walking for
bus stop.
15 minutes
No,
trying
we
to
went to the
find.
bus stop. I'm like, oh, I don't know when the bus is gonna come, but I'm gonna go to the toilet now. And then we just walk around this the clubbing district. I even got baited into I was like, oh, I kind of want to go now, but I actually need to. I'm
Oh
actually
wait,
gonna die.
what about
Yeah.
that TikTok where you're just walking by? It's 1,000 an hour. Come in, and there's just, we have penises or some shit like that. Do you know what I'm thinking?
No,
No.
there was, the one club they almost convinced us to go into was a very, I think, Western kind of looking club.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was it wasn't a Korean girl. It was I don't.
I think she was
probably-
Irish or
yeah, might have been
Gaelic.
something like that. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's best hip hop club in the world. I'm like, oh, mate. But then
Yeah, but it was super dead looking. So
it
we were
looks super dead, and also I was gonna die.
Dude, I remember when I pointed to the sign. I'm like, dude, Anthony, there's a toilet 800 meters.
Yeah.
He's like, oh mate,
Yeah.
we're just running for it.
But no, I would I think that was my favorite district. I thought Gangnam was supposed to be the district of where all the the cool stuff is, but the only time we spent
Gangnam's
Gangnam was to get Seb's Nike shoes with the imprints.
We went to the aquarium
Oh,
as well.
I
The
saw that.
aquarium and
Oh yes, yeah, that was around there. Yeah, the aquarium was really cool actually. The Coax Mall, that's just a huge fuck off. Probably the biggest mall I've ever been in.
yeah, it was
Um,
massive.
Yeah,
It was
there's a huge
twice the size of
library
Melbourne
in the
Central.
middle, just 20 bookshelf stories tall, just massive room. Yeah,
Melbourne Central, the main room that's got the 3 floors and the food court there, and it's
Got
got the
that big
giant
tower.
clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that entire room is probably the size of the library, just in that mall.
Damn,
yeah.
that's insane.
And it was literally they had a huge ladder that just went up to the top of this bookshelf that was like 30 meters tall.
I mean, Seoul Station was basically just Melbourne Central on crack.
Yeah.
We stayed next to Seoul Station for the first week, which was nice and convenient. Actually, we kept joking about it, but like it was true. Like the place we stayed at, low key looked like the Parasite. You know, the slums. You know, where the first family are from. It actually looked like kind of identical. We got some photos that we could show you, and it's like, damn, this is where
You
Parasite
were
was
living in
filmed.
the
What,
slums.
Yeah.
Seoul Station?
Oh my god.
No, like not Seoul Station, like the area like where
Like
we
right
stayed.
next to it.
Yeah, next to it.
Right.
But that was like, yeah.
Have you guys seen? Yeah, you guys seen Parasite?
Yeah, we seen Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It was scarily accurate, surprisingly. And then like
Yeah.
one of the people
Yeah,
we
everywhere,
stayed with
yeah.
said like, "Oh yeah, we had a flooding, and we lived in like a basement house, so it got flooded." And I'm just like,
Oh.
I had to not try and think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kind of.
That was our experiences. Yeah, just
Yeah,
in Korea in
outside of
general,
like being in Korea, you actually got to meet Koreans who played Smash, which is cool.
yes,
How
we're gonna go into the Smash now.
yeah, how
Mm.
well, real quick question. How is like communicating or like general English like
Oh,
like with
it
people
was fine.
like you could
completely
just
fine,
talk
actually.
with like
Yeah.
Tarnak
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, it was Tanaf that reached out to Seb like maybe 2 weeks or a week before we came to Korea.
Yeah,
I
it
think
messaged
just-
me as well.
Yeah, got us
Really
all a
nice.
DM and tried to plan, what we should do and all that. Like
That's really
when we
nice.
get there. Yeah.
Tanak was really great to be around. He
The goat.
helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Not
had
to
a few
mention-
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go on. Sorry.
We had a few Koreans in particular who were like really, really good to hang around and helped us out a lot. We had Tanak, obviously. We had Nari, who
Yeah, Nari.
went around with us in, was it Hongdae? We went to the rhythm place.
No, that was not Hongdae. That was Jesus. That was like where we got lost. Where we took because one thing about Korean public transport is line one. Even Koreans complain
Line
about
one.
it. It splits off somewhere, so we ended up going like I don't know 5 suburbs like in the wrong direction, and then we had to go back and then back again. Essentially, we just went out play arcade and get food and
So there was
Yeah.
Nari, who was really good to be around. There was Pildo, really
oh yes, yep.
cool kid to be around. Yeah, he helped guide us a lot, and he had really, really good English, so he was able to translate a lot really quickly for us. And we had old mate,
Oh my Toke, yep.
yeah, Toke,
Lizard,
the chef,
yeah, lizard seller.
lizard seller,
Lizard seller, the smuggler. Yep.
illegal lizard smuggler. Actually, the best guy.
Yeah.
Smuggle some lizards.
That's
Yeah,
so
no,
interesting.
lizards are a treasured possession in
It costs like
in Korea.
$10,000 for you to buy like a pet
Lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Some Blade Runner
So
shit
he's a
going on.
lizard.
Yeah.
So he's a lizard breeder, and he said next time we come to Korea, we have to smuggle something, and he'll share the profits.
But yeah, our first experience, at least playing Smash, though, we went to a cafe.
Korea?
No,
No.
it wasn't Korea. It was we went. It was like 2 days after we arrived. It was like just some gaming cafe. They only had like big screens. It was only like console games, right? Obviously, Korea is very known for its PC gaming culture, right? The PC
Yeah.
bungs. We didn't get to go to any of them. And obviously, we think we probably have better things to do. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like a console cafe. Maybe it had like I don't know 20 like big like 60-inch plasma screens. So that's we practiced on that.
Yeah,
Obviously, it was quite laggy until we switched to game mode. I don't think the owner knew what game mode was, which was a bit weird.
Well, I
So
mean,
it
it
was-
makes sense. Like, they just don't play that sort of stuff, you know? Like, they don't, like, it's not really
yeah.
their
It was more.
forte.
They weren't playing competitive games on these things. They were more of like Mario Party. There was a lot of
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of-
exactly. So it makes sense that
Yeah.
you wouldn't know.
It was really cool as well because it was like these type of places you would expect it to be the sweats or just like the boys to go out, but it was kind of like people
Everyone.
went out to these places for dates.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of like guys or girls would bring their partner and like they would just like play like
play whatever, play
you
the
know, like a-
PS4,
all the
PS5.
like
casuals.
It Takes
For
Two.
the casuals.
Yeah, It Takes Two
Yeah.
was very popular actually there. Yeah, It Takes Two and Mario Party and Mario Kart.
Yeah,
some
so
Smash, yeah.
they would just play everything there. It was really, really interesting.
And so, who were the guys that you played with?
We
Adverbs?
played with
It was Tanak, Adverb, and Nari.
those three.
So yeah, so we got our first taste, right? And I mean, yeah. What do you think, Bradley? You played.
Well, okay. So I reckon it's probably best if you don't you don't need to go into detail for every
Yeah.
single experience for like friendlies, but you can summarize a whole collective experience after you've mentioned like most of your tournaments. You know what I mean? Because I'd assume, right, like how you feel for friendlies will also correlate to like your actual competitive experiences in tournaments, and then you can like kind of summarize a whole.
Well, the one thing to
Unless
take
you have
note-
some specific things you want to point out, right? Like that
yeah,
are very unique.
there is one thing I want to point out, and that's they don't do money matches. It's not in Korean culture to money match people because it's just not something people really do. But they do a lot of friendly sets.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of serious sets. A lot of people will buy you a drink over a set.
Oh, like Bev match, yeah.
Yeah. There's also they do doubles practice very seriously. There, some of the teams, specifically Adverb and Tanak, they were doing like Adverb traveled out like 2 hours just to play doubles with me and Seb.
Damn.
That's cute.
Yeah, they were very
How'd that go?
dedicated. I mean, they are. Listen, me and Seb were like while we were playing, we're just like this is like insane. They were, despite like Adverb not even being like a well-known name there really until this past weekend where he actually did really well at Uprising. It was like their doubles teams are like low-key better than Australia's by quite a lot. Me and Seb were like thinking, yeah, Adverb and Tanak could get top 4 at an Aussie major easily, but like it's also like they haven't played against the other Aussies and the other Aussies haven't played against them, so it's hard to say. But just based on the skill, the awareness when you were doing doubles, they always knew when their teammate needed help and they would just sprint across the stage instantly. It was
Almost seems like MOBA-esque.
And they play-
yeah, it was really calculated doubles.
And I noticed as well, a lot of these teams, they would play different characters for doubles if like more beneficial. Like I played against Toke in doubles, who's meant to be a wolf main.
Yeah,
Played
Wolf
Mega Man
Mega
in
Man.
double. Yeah, he played Mega Man, and it was actually like I was actually just getting fucked by the like all the bullshit from Mega Man in dubs.
Yeah, and Pildo and his doubles partner normally played, I think just like
Falco, right?
yeah, yeah, the hot dog,
Yeah, Dr. Hot Dog,
plays
yeah.
Falco, but in doubles he plays Incineroar. So it's
Damn.
like they almost have like a completely
Yeah,
separate.
and
meta for
Tanak
doubles.
also plays me Brawler instead of Fox in doubles. Who's
Yeah.
Brawler's completely broken in doubles.
Yeah.
Damn.
But like they always knew as soon as their teammates hit like the certain situations, they always instantly would drop everything they're doing, run across the whole stage, and just kill you. Like it's actually like reminiscent
funny.
of like Seb and Ghost when like Seb would get a down throw on Rob, and then Ghost would just run across the whole stage and just me brawler F smash you. It was literally just that, but it was like you got hit by a Diddy monkey flip, and like suddenly, you know, Tanak was running across the whole stage to punish it and stuff like that. Their doubles meta was very scary, and they were surprisingly good at doubles. Like, it was very, very, very cool actually to play against,
Damn.
which is something I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, so what about so you went to the gaming cafe and then you went to a local, a monthly, and
Yes.
the major, right?
Yes.
Just the monthly. Well, their monthly was. Their
Oh
local.
no, yeah, because okay, so their local is like a monthly. Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Talk like can you give us a bit of an insight to like the Korea studio? Did you meet Gerald? Is he there?
I think we saw. I think we only saw Gerald at Uprising. Didn't say
Yeah.
hello or anything.
He would probably be at Uprising, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like no.
We
it
saw
was just-
Josh.
Who's
Yeah.
Was it his name? Josh?
Yeah,
Is
that's the TO.
Josh the guy that does the tidbits for Korea Gaming?
Oh,
Yeah.
mate.
I'm not certain.
Mate. I don't think so. He's just the head TO. He's just the head TO. He's from like he's from America.
Yeah,
Oh,
runs
lives
the
in
stream.
Korea.
Head TO.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that stuff.
I think he's tags JLu.
Okay.
But no, Core A. I mean, like I said, it's just like
The venue.
It's
Felt
similar-
like Pixel.
it's similar vibes to Pixel. It's like, but just more like fighting game like oriented,
Centric.
right?
It just looked
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
clean from the
Yeah, like if
photos.
you've seen the video, that's pretty much what you get, right? There's nothing too much else to it. You know, there's
Yeah.
a bar as well. You can get drinks or you can buy food.
Yeah.
What we drank. I thought it was gonna be the weirdest thing ever. It was kimchi like energy drink. You think that sounds like
Oh.
whack AF?
I loved
Was
it.
it nice?
Yeah, it was nice. It didn't taste like kimchi really.
I couldn't stop drinking it. I had like 4 in one day.
Yeah, they were giving away.
Jesus.
Yeah, they were giving away kimchi energy drinks.
It's like
but-
E15, but like better.
But like, oh yeah, true. But
Dude, I'm watching
Hey,
the video
come on.
now, and this video is so good. It's just
yeah,
like
it's,
he literally is like doing like a fast speed on how to get to the studio.
yeah,
Hmm.
but
Like-
it's like it's just a total vibe. Like, I would say the monitors and the setups are like easily the best I've ever
Dude,
seen.
there's a
Yeah.
rage room.
I'm not sure if it's a
Yes,
rage room.
no, I
they
did,
got
I
the stream
did see
setup.
no, I did see the rage room. Yes, it was next to Anthony. I don't know if you saw it, but you know where the stream setup room was on like the side.
Yeah.
There was a door in there that went to another room,
What?
and like Jaylee told me, it was like, oh yeah, if people need to salt out, they just go in there, and it's like soundproof.
That's
Oh, what?
awesome. Wait,
Damn.
you guys
I
missed
didn't-
out.
well,
Anthony,
it was
you
close
needed
up, it was
that,
close
bro.
up.
For
Oh,
well, there
Hey,
wasn't much
listen,
raging
at
going on.
Uprising, we probably needed
Yeah,
that.
but like the
dude,
monthly,
the will
we
to
all
keep
did,
winning.
we all did pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm always angry that I'm losing to Bradley and Seb.
yeah.
But-
Traveled all the way to Korea to lose to me instead.
Yeah. I mean, I would have rather had that fate than what actually happened at Uprising, but we can get on that later. But
Menre.
yeah, but no, Koei Studios is really cool. It's not huge or anything, right? But it's
Yeah.
just like really nice to play in. Like I said, the monitors, like best monitors I've ever played on.
Yeah,
Almost. Like
no lag.
negative lag.
negative
And then-
lag.
And then
Yeah.
the like just like really nice speakers. Just like Sifo would be the best player in this venue because he has sound.
It was actually
Yeah.
just rollback like monitors.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
Um,
actually see the future when you play.
yeah.
The only bad thing about them was they all had third-party adapters.
Ah, damn.
There was no first-party adapters, so I usually brought mine to the events so I could just plug mine in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Most people want pro cons. I mean, we can actually. I mean, I suppose we can start in this actually. Apparently, we were told we use what's sold in Korea.
Wait, what?
Actually-
Oh, we use.
Yeah, we use what's sold in Korea. So, at this probably meant that actually most of the scene started in Ultimate.
Very young.
Yeah.
And
then-
that's probably
then-
why Tanakh played a lot. Like
Yeah, he
his
went to
experience
America.
comes exclusively from America, probably.
Mm.
Yeah, and then at the start of the game as well, apparently, like most of the people that were playing in Korea were, like foreigners and like expats, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's the
JJ Rockets.
JJ, yeah, like people like JJ Rockets.
Was he
Like,
there?
I don't. No, he doesn't live in Korea anymore.
Oh, true.
He lives in
Um,
Japan now.
Yeah, but like obviously as time went on, like you see a high influx of like native Korean players playing, and now most of the most of the top ranked players are like the native like Korean players.
Mm.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Oh, emergency. Right.
But it was just really strange when Pilto's like, "Oh yeah, we don't actually have Wii U's here." Like, huh?
So like,
yeah.
yeah, it's
So
actually just,
most
like,
of the players, Ultimate is their first Smash game.
Mhm.
Damn.
Since the last Smash game they would have had was Brawl.
But it's crazy looking at the Australian scene as well, and like how much of the fact that like being a Smash 4 vet helps with being like
most
how
yeah.
good you
like-
are locally here. It's like
Mm.
all of OSPR are Smash 4 vets at least. Like
Yeah, and it's like you look at the first Korean PRs because we did a bit of research on the players before we went, and their last Korean PR was at the end of 2019, and on it was Tanaka first, and then there was Mage, who's the Power player from America, and then there was JJ Rockets. So their top 4 had 3 people who played Smash 4,
yeah,
which was
and then you
really
just kind of
strange.
lose that. So it's like fuck.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And now you've got players like, new players like a 14-year-old basically probably maybe their best player now. Like from
Yeah,
Korea.
Yeah.
I think Ashen is their best player.
And it helps
Yeah.
a lot having Smash 4 for your development of the new age as well. Like imagine if like in Victoria if we didn't have like any Nick or Bin to like guide like some of these like
imagine
up-and-coming
the
ultimate-
PR right now, like
Without
the current
Smash 4.
PR. Imagine all these players just disappeared. Like,
Yeah.
we got
Dude, it's
Thanos
just New
snapped.
South Wales.
Yeah,
in
actually.
2020 and
Yeah,
2021.
actually, that is
And
a
it's
good
like,
example.
oh,
Yeah.
Jura and Beat are our best players in Vic now. So it's like,
Yeah, you'll just have a very young sort of.
it's like it's not like they're bad, but
Level
it's like
metagame.
we lose so much depth, So
Yeah, it's but yeah, you just lose all the veterans.
yeah.
It's almost a bit like Queensland.
It's
Almost.
almost like everywhere else
Kinda.
but Victoria and SA.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm.
I mean, as SA's like got a lot of their veterans still dominating.
Yeah.
Ghost
Well.
Taicho.
WA's the same. Like they have their vets still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but they've really only got Pop It. I
No,
wanna
it's
say.
Turn Up.
Turn
Oh,
up.
true. I
and-
forgot about
and
Turn
Like
Up.
Smash 4. Like,
Yeah. All right. Anyways,
yeah.
just a
Yeah,
tangent.
yeah.
The
we're going
actual
on to-
event.
Let's go
it's
back
like-
overseas.
Not
you know?
today.
Yeah.
Yes.
The rule set of the
Oh,
event.
yeah,
I
true.
think you got the rule set first. Actually.
Yoshi's story.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna quickly.
Dude, I'm looking at this note,
Yeah.
and Anthony's like Korean rule set.
Bring back
Bring back
Yoshi's.
Yoshi's.
Hang on, I'm gonna get the.
But do you guys know the rule?
rule
Maybe you
set
should
up.
post a picture.
Yeah, I'll post it now.
I remember that.
haven't
So
checked.
it's the. They do the 5 starters thing, right?
I heard-
like 3
Yeah,
candidates.
here you go.
I
I've
heard
posted it in-
most games were played on Yoshi's.
Most
No.
games. Well, okay, no, that's not true. But I mean, every game I could try and get on Yoshi's, I did go to Yoshi's. I'll just say that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think the biggest omission here, right, is obviously like no Smashville, which was crazy. This
That
might
is
be the
crazy,
only
yeah.
rule set in the world with no Smashville
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
literally
that's
just no
Kind
Smashville
of weird.
and
and
no
then
Lilac.
replace Lilac with Yoshi's. That's
Yeah.
literally the rule set.
Damn. And then you have
But-
starters and counter picks.
Okay, so your starters are Battlefield, FD, Small Battlefield, Pokemon Stadium 2, and Town and City.
Yeah, so you don't even get a single plat for starters. So it is a weird
yeah.
rule set because Hollow
Cannot
Bastion
counter
isn't
pick
count-
the most recent stage that you have won on.
So that's
Yeah,
MDSR.
so-
So
MDSR.
That's MDSR, and it is
Winner bans 2 stages.
no. I'm seeing where it says character first or not.
Oh yes, no, it is not. It's
You double
It's
you
stage
double
first,
blind.
it's stage first, sorry.
Yeah, you double blind character selection for the
Oh,
first
yeah,
game, and then
obviously.
after that game, you do stage and then character.
Stage then character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I
Similar
think.
to Low Tide City.
Wait, what? Stage then character. That's not good.
Yeah, no. So like you do your bans, like let's say we did bans, and it's like, all right, I ban Battlefield and Yoshi's, and then you're like, all right, let's go FD, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna switch to Kazuya, and then you just gotta go against.
Wait, there's
Kazuya
8
and
stages
FD.
though.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And you ban 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
But you also can't go back to the last stage you won.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it works out.
cool. Yeah. I think this is not great, but
I don't-
sure.
There were some characters, like when I played against Linzel and I had to play against Samus with this rule set, I actually felt awful the whole time. It was like, because game 1, it's like, I'm like, all right, I'll ban.
Yoshi's.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't have to ban
no,
Yoshi's.
no,
you
yeah,
don't-
like
yeah.
starters, it's like, all right, I'll ban Pokemon Stadium. It's like, all right, pick between Battlefield or Town and City
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
or FD, and I'm
Yeah.
just like,
not having Smashville, I think, is kind of troll because it is like a necessity of a stage.
mm,
You look at the starters, and it's like 3 big stages, like massive stages, and then you have like Battlefield and Small Battlefield. And Battlefield is polarizing.
and even Battlefield is big.
Yeah.
I
it's,
mean,
it's
like-
big in its own way.
Low key, their meta is like suited to these stages as well. the
Yeah,
character
their
picks. Like,
meta.
actually
Well-
somehow.
Of course it would be, right?
Yeah.
Of course it would be. Because that's how you get the fucking like counterpick motherfuckers, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
And you get like Yoshi's, Kalos, and Hollow Bastion. So like your game 2s and 3s are
They're
probably like
fine.
more even-ish. But I think Smash, like you have to have Smashville.
Dude,
Yeah, it was
like-
basically every game was just starting, for me at least, on Battlefield or Town.
And you look at you add Kalos to it, right? And there's so many big stages.
I just think
Mm.
Yoshi's in itself is like too much of a
Hollow-
difference.
No, I
No,
was
it's
like,
Hollow Bastion that's
Yoshi's-
troll. Hollow Bastion is troll because
Yeah, Hollow
this
Bastion
stage
is
is a
very-
nothing stage. It's a liminal space. Like you play on this stage and you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
What is this? What's going on?
I'll say I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed playing on Yoshi's.
I really did enjoy Yoshi's
Yeah,
way
yeah,
more
of
than
course.
Lilac. It felt
yeah, it's so much better than Lilac.
no,
Like,
No,
it's
dude,
like
Yoshi's like I would love playing on Yoshi's too. I think there's a huge novelty aspect to it. It's completely unjanked stage in terms of like consistency of like the literal stage does not change any like there's no moving platforms, there's no weird bullshit ledge, right?
yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just the fact that it's like WarioWare. It's like it's a very like this is small and this is very small on the ground too, right? But I think like it is kind of a nice like I don't see it being like a toxic addition to like any stage rule set. I just think that you have to like make sure that if you're willing to have Yoshi's, which is fine on its own, your overall stage selection has to be balanced as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think this stage was balanced, but like playing it on the actual like stage itself felt fine. I don't feel like anyone felt cheated. Like,
Especially because Yoshi's is especially devious if you're doing stage first.
It's true. It is true.
This
Yeah.
does not you're fucking trolling, dude. Like
it's
you
it's
better
like
pick up a Pocket Mario or you're
that was
fucking
what
Roller,
Bean
yeah.
Money. That's what Bean
Yeah.
Money would do. Bean Money would play Game and Watch, and if Game and Watch, and I remember he counterpicked
Oh my god.
who did he counterpick? He counterpicked someone to Yoshi's, and he's just spamming up B into up B because it just kills you at 0.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
like I play like fucking Captain Falcon, you know, and it's like, oh, Yoshi's or like fucking I play like Little Mac. And it's like, all right,
Oh, let's go FD then. It's like, I'm
yeah,
actually a
Mario
Little Mac man now.
baby. Or Palutena. Fuck yeah.
The one main thing about this stage list I did not like is it was very, very big stage centric.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you liked smaller stages, people would just ban Yoshi's and then small battlefield. Right?
That's literally what I was trying to like talk about, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so
No,
bad.
that's-
Like Samus.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it was like, and then it's like the Samus players like, okay,
Yeah.
they
and
ban Yoshi's and then small battlefield,
And then
and
you use
even
your
then
Hollow
they don't even want to
Bastion.
ban small battlefield. Sometimes,
No.
sometimes
Yeah.
they ban Hollow Bastion instead.
And then you get
Now
your
it's
one
like-
win, and then it's MDSR, and it's like,
Dude,
like-
you think about it, and it's like, what is the small stage after that? Because you have FD
It's
and
like
you have
Battlefield
It's
and Hollow
Battlefield, and
Bastion.
Battlefield's broken for Samus.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and-
The actual,
and-
you know what the secret actually is though? It's FD because Samus sucks on FD. Like,
Well,
it's-
but the problem is that
that's it.
Warrior sucks on FD more. So most of those characters that like the small
Yeah,
stages don't
I
like.
thought the same. I actually thought the same when I played Linzel. I'm like, I don't. I think FD is actually not good for Samus, but I also don't like it at all for Palutena.
no,
so-
Anthony, you troll because where are they gonna land for the up B?
I just took Hollow Bastion because I'm
Where,
just.
where are they gonna land for the up B, dude? Nowhere.
Where am I gonna land for anything? Like,
Dude, you have teleport. Just
I mean, we'll get into that, but like
Okay.
they are good at reacting to like
Oh.
just like disadvantage options in general.
So you're gonna say good at reacting to your stage picks.
No, they just like if they put you in disadvantage, it's like they don't
All right,
they
well,
don't
let's
overextend.
let's talk about it. Okay,
Yeah.
so gameplay
Korean
difference,
meta, yeah.
the Korean meta. Let's talk about it.
compared to
All
Australia.
right, get the DLC character that MK Leo is playing right now, and they are playing that character exactly like MK Leo plays
Dude,
it, but like they've played it with for less time.
The
That's
Mick
literally
Layers.
just
the
it.
Mick layers.
Everyone,
Layers.
The Mick layers.
literally everyone is just McLeo, like McLeo the third. Like it's actually like I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of just boring. Did not like playing on it as someone who does not follow the meta there.
Yeah.
It was just like playing against a gun spamming Joker, and then my next round was against a Samus who would just do charge shot and like wait, and then my next round was like a DD sitting on the other side of the stage just jumping around.
Go get.
Just like
And then it was
throwing a random
Dario who's just
DDD in
doing
there.
Aura Sphere the whole game. It's just like
Oh.
it was
So
just
it doesn't seem like it's a very McLeo centric
no,
meta
but
right
the
now.
but the problem is that you're always on a big stage, so they always play like it's a big stage. So they're on the other side of the stage from you, just throwing stuff
All of a
that's
sudden, Lucario
unpunishable,
comes in.
literally
Like,
unpunishable stuff from across the stage. And then if you go near them, they just like continue to run away, but like also they just wait for you to do offensive stuff and then they counter it because
Yeah, I mean the general meta is they are the lowest risk like possible, right? Take every interaction in their favor, like basically.
Yeah.
Try and make things as riskless as possible and try and play as calculated as possible. Yeah, so like basic, kind of McLeos, right?
yeah.
This is why Joker is the most popular character there, right? Because this is the
Oh,
character
by
that
far.
will always pick the fights correctly, essentially, and they know how to pick the fights correctly. Essentially, like Linzel is just really hard to like actually just. There is no mistakes really going on in their gameplay, right? Like in my opinion,
They
At least
play
that's
so
what I-
minimal. There's
Yeah.
like they play so minimal. It's hard for them to make mistakes because it's kind of like imagine Jono played more like Embo, but like kept his skill of Jono. It's like it would just be really hard to hit them, and they're really safe, and like they never do a random dash grab. They never really do like a full hop committal aerial. They'll just keep using really fast ground speed really fast ground speed characters, and
what's a player that is the most comparable to
In
them
Australia?
in Australia?
I said it's DMO.
Okay, what's
I
the
can see
difference?
that.
What's the difference between DMO and the Korean top players then? Just so we have like an understanding, because obviously these guys aren't the best players in the fucking world, right? There's obviously a flaw that they have, right? So let's unpack it, you know?
Low key, this might sound like a cop out, but I think the biggest difference is they play similar, but the stage list also helps them a lot. Like, it's like if you were to play against DMO, you could probably get Small Battlefield or like, you know, Smashville or Lilats in this rule set, or you know, Holy Bastion, and it wouldn't be that bad, right? But there, they just banned the really small stages, and then suddenly everything feels so much more safe, just because you have to run further at them to get them. And it's like, if you jump, they just run under you, and if you run at them, they like just jump and then gun down and play safe. It was very weird.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's just their execution. So they don't have like the 20xx like combos or whatever, right? But their execution on like, you know, stuff like I said, the just Joker fair one, you know, drag down, right? Or like Inkling up through up there. It's like literally 100% conversion rate. They will practice this shit. The Ice Climbers player I played against had 100% conversion rate on like all that bullshit, like Ice Climbers.
89's better than all the Australians.
Yeah.
89 Legend is so good.
Oh, Legend, my bad.
Yeah, but that's what I noticed. It's like, dude, they're like, I mean, if like I said, if they were Roy players, they would hit it. Like Tanak, 100% hit rate on down air up smash. Like
they would never miss jab back here.
Yeah, they'll never fuck up anything like that.
Okay.
Like,
what about anything about the player decisions then? Because I get the picture you're trying to paint, right?
It was honestly hard to think about what they were thinking, because it felt like they were doing similar things the whole time, but they were just reacting to what you're doing, and then they would do the most optimal thing, or just if they didn't see something that would work for them, they would just run away. So it's like, it's hard to, I think their decision making was just, if you make a mistake, they're going to do a punish that just gets a hit, and then just wait for you to keep making mistakes after that. But if you're not making a mistake, they just won't interact with you until you do make one.
Yeah. But the thing is, they've picked the broken neutral characters, so like it feels like you have to make a
on the really large stages.
Yeah, so you have to make the first move, right? They like, or they will fucking just shoot you with the Joker gun, or just Mithrid forever. Yeah,
I see.
So it just sounds like greater patience, really, since it's like less risky.
Yeah,
and it's like they were never scared of me just getting waffed, because, you know, they played so patient, and they just know that Warrior's neutral is a bit linear. It's like Warrior has to do like a full hop onto someone, or like a jump onto someone to hit them, or he has to like run at them on the ground and then do a short hop nair. They would just avoid that. If they saw me run at them, they would jump over me, and if I jumped, they would just run under me, and then they would continue gunning or A-hurring, or if I made a mistake, they would just hit me for like 15-20%, and it would just continue.
Honestly, sounds a bit like Duro.
No, Duro's.
I think
his durable stand at mid range and like random dash attack, he'll do like he'll do stuff, right? But these guys, if they're at mid range, they won't do a dash grab or like a dash at
so
like.
You're making it sound like
Demo is a lot more accurate.
You're making it sound like they're missing part of like a mix up in exchange for like, you're always gonna play Rock, but Rock is really safe. You know what I mean? Like. Even though Scissors can win sometimes, they'll never play.
It's kind of like you're playing rock paper scissors, but they've got gun at their disposal. So and that just resets rock paper scissors.
It's
the thing they're really banking on is like out-patienting you and like having a really strong game plan and like having a really strong tool in neutral, forcing you to deal with it. And it's like, here's this thing that you have to deal with, right? And I'm just going to keep abusing this. And I'm not even going to opt to punish, to go for certain things that might get me more mileage that you grant me, because I'm just going to opt for this game plan that's really safe and like look for specific punishes that this flowchart enables.
So,
their base game plans are very strong, like the top level at least.
It felt like a lot of Shrix and Dio and like.
What about Tanark then? Where does Tanakh fit
He's
in?
the
That's
anti.
the outlier. He's
Yeah,
the
he's the
outlier.
anti.
Yeah.
I love the
That New
anti-meta
Jersey
being
touch.
the best player. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like, it's like.
Tanakh's got the Connor in him.
Absolutely not.
What?
Dude, like I said, like I don't
It's
know.
like you look at WA and they're all like really really passive players, and then Luma's the best. So it's like, that's like just how it feels.
Right. Yeah, I can. Well, but Tanakh's not the best there, right? Is he?
He's like
Or
top
is
three,
he-
Well,
right?
according to their last like ranking periods and their recent monthly results, it would imply that Tanakh's the best. But after
I see.
Uprising,
I see.
because that was Ashen's first tournament in a long time for a reason.
Ah.
And so
So you guys were there when the weather changed.
kinda, yeah.
So Ashen didn't come to Soul Smash. So our first, because like Bradley and Seb got first and second at Soul Smash, right? Like
And then
Um,
Tanakh third. Who got fourth?
Linzel got fourth. Because
No,
that was the SD. Remember where you SD
Oh,
versus Seb and he
yeah.
freaked out.
Yeah.
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 And I got fifth. I think
Yeah,
with
but-
like
The
I
snake
think
player.
Yeah. We can talk about our runs, I suppose, slightly there, but like, I just lost to DD and Seb because, of course, that just happens.
But you did beat Visionary in 89.
I did beat Visionary and I beat 89. Who I thought and I did beat a Steve player that actually freaked me out. He was from like France or something.
What? Bam! Shout out.
They had a lot of
What was their
international
tag?
players there.
Oh,
I'll get it up if I
like
can.
Lee or something. Something like that. I don't know.
I'll get the bracket up.
He knew a few of the Steve gimmicks. I actually played him at Uprising again, and I prepped more for the Steve matchup. I was kind of learning as I go
Yeah.
what to do. But actually, because remember, I think that same weekend was when Rise and Grind happened. Oh no, the week and before that. So I watched the fuck out of Louis Money and Onin how to play against Steve.
Oh, you
and
watched.
Yeah, and I just did exactly what Louis Money did. All right, if you place the blocks, this is how you deal with it. This is how you deal with minecart. Just legit, just keep bearing. It's just the safest option. This,
Right.
This is the spacing you want to do against Anvil, etc., etc. This is how you edge guard Steve. So I just basically applied that to the Steve player, and it got me helped me a
Yeah,
lot.
his tag was yeah.
Yeah.
Like the yes. Dude, wait, he lost winners round 1.
Damn.
Wait, who did he lose to?
But
All right. Well, let's talk a bit about your runs. So
Well-
we're at Uprising. This is the tournament that you guys have you guys are there for. So what
Basically.
are some expectations and reality checks going in?
I was a lot more nervous than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
well, actually, can we talk
This
about
is after
actually
you
what
guys won the local, right?
Yeah, can we talk about actually what happened? Because originally, right, we before we went to Korea, we thought that Cosmos was going to come, and he was going to be obviously going to be number 1 seed, right? Obviously, then we saw Shine happens, Cosmos wins, and then he says oh, I need a break. So we're like, oh, Cosmos probably isn't coming. Is this a win
I'm
for
first
Bradley,
seed.
right?
Yeah, I'm first seed
Yeah,
then.
is Bradley going to win the event? Because especially after winning Soul Smash, right, the monthly. Right, because we actually didn't know. Bradley and Seb were 3rd and 4th seed for Soul Smash. Just to see, it's a bit hard to gauge how Diddy and Seb will do against Linzel and Tanakh. But we saw that they, the Australians took over. But then actually, it was 2 days after registration closed, it was announced Korea were opening their border to Japan. And
so the tournament registration had ended, so no more players could enter.
Yeah, we
Which
thought it
is-
was only going to be 55 entrants.
Right.
But then signups opened back up.
Signups end up happening still, and I think the tournament got almost 80.
Nice.
Yeah, so an extra 25 people.
Yeah.
After I had already researched my bracket, the people I was playing and tried to get all that, they opened the bracket again 2 days after it had closed, and suddenly there were just 25 more people, and
Yeah.
I was like,
including Gakt and
Kept.
Kept. Yeah,
including Gakt Kept, yeah.
yeah.
Although I think even if the bracket stayed how it was, I think Ashen would have won the tournament over me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Ashen was winning that day.
Nice.
But yeah, I was really excited to hear that the Japanese players were coming because
Me and Seb weren't. We wanted to win doubles, but then it became a lot harder.
But I don't know. My expectations was to just probably meet my seed like at that tournament because like I think I was seeded quite high because
You're
like
seeded to get ninth.
I was seeded to get ninth because I was actually seeded to get ninth at the monthly, which was less stats, and then he saw that I did quite well, so he like the TO bumped me up. But like that tournament was just filled with like people like just across the world that you have no idea like how good they are.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
right.
like it's so weird. Actually, it's so different playing in a major overseas compared to here because you just have no clue who the hell your opponent is. I like even in Oz, right? I'm so like ingrained in the Oz scene really that I kind of know everyone. If I have not heard it, okay, it might sound arrogant, but if I haven't heard of you in Oz Smash and I'm about to play you, like chances are like I'm probably gonna win. Like they're not that actually. There's not really a hidden boss.
Like you know,
really.
you know who like 15th in the state is, but you don't know who 40th in the state is. It's like,
Well, not
you know,
even
it's
the
just not
40.
how it is.
It's like non-40s, I imagine at this point. Right?
Yeah, but like if people aren't on the 40, right? Like I'm probably not gonna lose to them.
Yeah.
Like
Unless
chances
it's like a
are I
Wi-Fi
can declare.
hidden boss.
Chances are I can declare like what my character is, and like I'll just let them pick the stage, and I'm probably still gonna win. But like when you're overseas, you just have no clue what to prepare for, what their play style is. Sometimes I'll still hear about like I've never played against a player, but like I haven't played against Unpheasant, right? But he's like, oh, this guy's got sick Mario combos, right? You know, he will do. You know, he likes PS2.
so you know what to
etc.
expect.
So I know what to expect, even if I've not seen or played against Unpheasant. That like I've got my expectations in check. But some of these players, like this Ice Climbers, I had no clue like how good this player was. Like I have no clue like how he would compare to Spammage. And then this guy was doing like I feel like the craziest shit ever.
Ice banana.
Looking like Ice Banana, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like actually like Ledge Trump like Nano Bear bullshit. Like right, like just 100% hit right in the footstool. So I basically I think I just treated that if they picked a character, I have to expect their like full potential almost. Because even if Steve was doing like he wasn't NILing me, but he was doing like every other fancy tech.
So it's like you
essentially.
should start with like a ton of respect and then adjust it over time for how they
I
actually
just
are.
started. I played with essentially. Like the only person I only watched VODs of was just kind of Tanak.
He was the only one who really had VODs.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bit hard to find VODs and like or tournament results of what happened.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
But,
And then what about the
ahead.
Koreans? What do they think of you guys? Like, because Tanak, I saw on his Twitter, he was like, "Oh, it's good to like play 7DD to know where we kind of are in the world standing as well. Like, it's some point of reference for them."
I feel like they had a lot of importance on like rank and like where they are, because a lot of the times Tanak, Linzel, they would all like ask me, it's like, oh, where would you put me in Australia? And I'd be like, it's a hard question.
it's hard, right?
I try to give them an answer, but it's like I can't give them an answer.
For what I said to them, it's like you have to see how you stack up against the rest of the competition. Like, all right, Tanak and Linzel both beat Seb, right? And Seb's a top.
But I've been Seb. You know what I mean?
No, but
know?
okay, but but their sets look way more convincing. First
Yeah,
of all,
and
they
he
played
also
against
did
Seb
it at a
once.
major.
Yeah, they played against Seb once or twice, and they beat him. And you
Yeah,
took 20
that's
times. You
true.
took 20 times, Connor.
I took like 5.
Oh, so they took him to game 5 both times as well.
Yeah.
But like it's hard, right? Because they could beat Seb, who's probably a top 6 player in the country.
Yeah.
I think by most people, right? But like, how do they stack up versus like everyone else? How would they fare versus
Jix
Ernest?
or a Nick.
Maybe Ernest beats these guys both, and like that probably means they're probably not OzPR,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But obviously, like these guys can probably easily. I mean, we saw that right against DD and Seb. Like they probably can fight the OzPR players
Yeah.
and like beat them. But like, how well can you do consistently below them? It's like
Like, could these guys beat P9? It's like,
Yeah.
listen.
Could
Like,
Tanak beat We Toxic Few? I don't think coin
who
flip
knows?
maybe. Like
Tanak versus like Woodkins, like what's happening there?
Yeah.
obviously their potential is insane, and I think Linzel is like just the way he plays. It's like this guy's like not. I don't feel like this guy's prone to upsets. Like
You gotta
I think
look
this
at-
guy. I think
Actually
this
have
guy
a snooze.
could be like really high.
He's just
in
mad
odds.
consistent.
But Tanak is like the thing with him is like he's really good. Obviously, he's like conversions and like just like execution and like reactions are just cracked, right? But he will actually make the mistake and go off stage when he shouldn't. For an edge guard, he will go for the shine spike a lot.
Hey Connor.
And then he's just fucking dead at Tim, like, right? Like,
Mm.
sounds familiar.
But
Based.
they were also they didn't really they said they were surprised. Like for the people who I played against, they were like, "Oh my god, like the bike, what?" They like because I was like the first
You
warrior.
know,
a
no
lot of-
warrior, right? So that's
Yeah,
No
yeah,
warrior.
I was one of the first warriors they'd seen. There was another international warrior who I think it might have been someone from America, one of the really good warriors, like Low One or something, who actually stayed in Korea for around 4 months and just won like 2 of their monthlies and left. So it's like
cool.
that's really all their warrior experience they had. And then when they saw me, they've never seen something like it, which I think kind of confused them. But like when like the confusion got put aside, they would just like still like go back to their game plan and out neutral. Like they didn't really change what they were doing too often, just because they were really good at what they were doing.
Yeah, I think the adaptation is like was a little bit. I'm not sure poor, right? But it's like they've never played against a player like Bradley's like pace, right? Obviously, like the way to beat this type of neutral is like you just have to like outspeed them in their thinking, and like
Yeah.
that's what like DD and Seb could
And
do
then when
really
I'm
well.
when I'm like not in the lead anymore, that's when you go back to what you're doing,
Yeah,
because it's much harder for me to approach if I'm not ahead.
yeah. It felt like it was only like Ashton that could like keep the pace up. Always like he was like
Yeah.
kind of forcing you guys to like think faster. I felt like.
Yeah, Asher was just bodying me.
Yeah.
It's like I was just every time he switched to Mithra, I knew I was losing neutral, and every time he switched to Pirate Ledge, I knew I was dying. It was just like I actually hadn't felt that hopeless in like so long.
Hmm.
Yeah. Damn.
No one plays that character to that level here, especially like not even close.
No,
Yeah,
dude.
like I do like that they definitely they favor their top tiers, and it's kind of it just does suit right the way they play neutral, the stage lists, like the character selection, it all makes sense on like what they're trying to achieve there.
Do you think it's similar to like
they're trying to
other
achieve
games that Koreans
Oh,
are kind of known for?
League of Legends.
Yeah,
it
They
actually makes sense. It's just
all
exactly how
comes
like
together.
Korean League works, right?
Yeah.
And like they used to be the best, right? When they
I mean, they arguably are now.
I mean, they still might be, but right. But obviously, the past few years, China have been like the best region, the more dominant region, and that's because like they can outspeed the Koreans. Like the one thing is like they can be stubborn in their thinking, right? And I'm not sure like it's like that's the case in Smash, but like
I feel like they were a bit stubborn. I feel like they didn't feel the need to change what they were doing, even when they were behind. Which is like that's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
yeah,
Which is why it feels like they weren't adapting, but they probably
that's
were.
true actually. Yeah,
But they were adapting in a way that it didn't look like their gameplay was changing. They would never do like a full hop back air with Joker to call out a jump. They would just continue back airing your shield, and then like eventually it would work just because they were doing it
because their
better.
spacing is better.
Because they're doing it better.
Yeah, I mean that is the one thing I've seen. This like they have the spacing was freaky from a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I have a question because Australia is also kind of a small scene as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like Korean being even smaller, it seems. How do you think these guys have been able to attain like a pretty somewhat high level of skill, despite being like so tiny, right? Like
They had a lot of online events.
a lot of
Yeah.
online.
I think they play a lot of online.
Do you
They
think
have like
they've
2 or
improved
3 online.
like a different way compared to kind of how we've done it within our own scene, since we're both kind of small?
I don't really know, honestly. I feel
How
like
do you think we've done it?
we've just got a lot of people who go to locals and we just keep playing against each other a lot. But there it feels like instead of trying to play against people, they're trying to play against themselves. It's like because there's so few monthlies, like they've only got one monthly a month, a few online events. It's like they never really play player matchups. They just play their own play style and they just refine it a lot. So I feel like that's how they're improving. They're trying to make themselves the best they can, but
Classic Goinmu.
But it's like here, it's like I could go up to Connor and be like, "Hey man, you're playing against Seb. I can give you some Seb tips." But they would probably be like, "Hey, I'm playing against Seb. He plays Rob, so I need Rob tips." Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It feels like here we have a high preference about the player versus player
Yeah,
style
we
of
do.
the game,
compared
right?
to
And like
them.
that sort of aspect of the game. Whereas in a lot of like Asian countries, I feel it's about like perfecting a craft, right?
Yeah.
I think if you look at StarCraft culture and you look at like technicality and like what things about the game, like getting good at the game, they will perfect. That's why like very proficient. Like you look at Korean top like FGC players, they're very like studious in terms of their optimal execution combos. You look at StarCraft, you look at the Korean meta in League of Legends, it's very like they are very good at doing their character things, but it's almost like you said, the stubbornness, right? It's if there is a flaw to pinpoint, it's that what if you find someone that is good at just beating you? They're not necessarily following an orthodox style of the way to play, but they know how to beat you, right?
Yes.
And then that's where you feel like, like how do they deal with this? And I think they have the luxury of being very like, I think the thing that from hearing you guys, right, because I think you guys can be very anti Korean meta in the sense that like you can kind of just, you guys will look at people, see how they play and deal with it, right? Or Bradley, you especially, right? But then it's like the thing that they have is discipline. When they play a game, a competitive game or anything, they probably have in their culture a very high level of patience and like discipline and mental composure, which allows them to like not necessarily like change from playing the game to playing the player, but allows them to be more in the moment, right? And obviously there's freakouts, right? Like I like you see the freak out at the monthly and shit. But then you look at Uprising and you look at like the composure of like these players like Ashen or like fucking Linzel, and it's like, damn, like these guys don't like, it doesn't feel too freaky, you know? There's definitely no like, you look at some of the high level gameplay here in like Victorian locals or whatever, and you just see like some freakouts. You see like Zav and Flo like doing like weird shit at like high stock scenarios or shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Or you'll see like there's a Hail Mary somewhere, you know, and it's here. It's kind of like we don't have that threshold of patience or like mental discipline.
Yeah.
So I think that goes like a very underrated long way.
The only person I feel doesn't really freak out in Oz Smash too much is Shrix. Like he always plays pretty, like
cool.
not samey, but like he doesn't need to change what he's doing because he knows he'll win if he does it. And
That's
does
the
better.
process.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with the sentiment of like the craft. I feel like there's a slight mentality difference between like we want to beat each other and like win the tournament over people rather than trying to be like what is optimal warrior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like what do I need to do or change to beat the person I'm sitting next to right now is more the focus. Which
and there's a fine balance to it.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't think either one is inherently better or worse, right? But I think when you also have to consider the fact that you guys you don't have home court advantage, right? So it is a very relevant factor. So I feel like I don't like when people come back and they're like, oh, like they're just inherently like better or worse or like this or that. There's a lot of factors at play. The most important thing is actually bringing back your experiences and like thinking objectively, what are they doing and like their personal traits in decision making and dissecting that sort of shit.
Okay, I was one of those people who was like, oh, I just think they played better, right? Obviously, when I came back. Because like I'm inherently a fan of the Mikuleos, right?
Dude, Anthony was like, Connor, you should never miss a jab back here in your life.
I mean, it's true. You shouldn't. But that doesn't.
You could be the best player.
The execution is like just something everyone could work on, right? Like they were just so pinpoint with like every time they got something they like executed it just literally without fail. But like even in terms of just like some of their like the play style, right? Like the low risk, take no chances play style, right? Like it's like if you don't have like practice with that in like where you're from, right? It's like it's really hard to deal with, like how to like basically open up a player like that who basically is giving you no chances. Because even in Oz, I'll play against Bradley, right? I play against Bradley. I still don't win, but there's plenty of chances Bradley does give me to win the match if I'm just a bit better at the game.
I feel like I should have lost you at some point already, but
So yeah, exactly. There's probably some points where if I probably just had I didn't freak out. I probably have got a set win on Bradley by now.
Right.
Right. But like against like players like their top players like Ashen or Linzel, like it's like these guys are just like they're kind of trying to.
No cracks.
No, there's no cracks. So basically, like I feel like to beat these type of players, I need to like be fundamentally better than them. Like I need to
Yeah.
Like,
like
more
my
clean,
fundies
right?
somewhere else. Yeah. So that it comes back to the point of like they're like trying to be better at the game rather than just trying to beat the player.
and that was what that was like my whole game plan against Lindsay is I thought I would actually get out neutered by him. So the entire time I was playing against him, I tried to just bait him into like making mistakes, which is like uncharacteristic of him to even do to begin with. But like I tried to like it sounds really like bad, but I thought like he was low-key gonna beat me if I didn't try and inexperience him. So I tried to just use warrior traits he wouldn't understand to win. And I feel like if I played Linzel a lot more times, I think he'd start to like just beat me a lot. He gives me like bin vibes on how he adapts.
Mm.
Actually, he's kind of like bin. If you
Yeah.
if you didn't do the crazy bin stuff, if you just think that the traditional like bin neutral, like how he likes to play, that's kind of Linzel. And if bin played a better character, like.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a lot of the times I would like land right next to him. Like I would do a fastball air dodge right behind him or something. And because Warrior's airspeed, he would try and up me out of shield, but because I'm too much airspeed, I'm just barely far enough away. So I kept doing stuff like that, just hoping it would catch him off, and it worked. But there was some times where I just couldn't hit him for like a minute straight, and it was just like, yeah, he's just playing.
Yeah, movement is like.
So yeah, his movement's just too solid. It's like hard to hit him,
Cool.
and my movement's not good enough
Do we
yet.
do we want to talk about the bracket itself, guys?
I mean,
I'm keen to.
there is a fucking elephant in the room that we haven't even talked about. You know,
Japanese players.
fucking the Japanese players.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, they're alright.
We should talk about the first because they came in on the day before Uprising, the first day on
Yeah.
Friday, right? Like, we went to the Korea again the day before just to practice, obviously.
And they were
And
there.
then and then like they just came in at like 7 p.m.
Like straight from the airport, straight
awesome.
to Korea, because I think Tanaka drove them.
Go.
Okay, let's
so-
talk about them as people first.
Yep.
Just give us a bit of an insight because they seem like
goats.
very lovely people.
Oh, they're my goats.
I think Gakt actually
The
saved
umbrella.
Anthony's life at one point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He saved your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he saved
Anthony, like,
Anthony.
can't
There's
communicate
a
at
photo
all.
of.
But it's
There's a
just
photo of
like, I got
Anthony
you,
shooting.
bro.
Actually, here comes the Tanak also speaks Japanese as well. So he was
What?
he was doing
crazy.
speaking 3 languages, like
Yeah.
translating
Actually, like
Japanese to Korean.
And just switching on the fly, it was so crazy.
Yeah. But like the Japanese players could speak, they could kind of speak English.
Yeah.
It was pretty basic, but he could speak English.
Australian
I could talk to him.
yeah.
I mean, they've like Gakt had a lot of American experience.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
been to America. a lot.
That,
That's why I
that
thought.
amounts to something.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about Kept.
Kep's English was okay. I tried talking to Kep. I showed Kep.
I think
that,
Kept had better English than Gakt.
Okay.
probably.
Cool.
I showed Kep that this tweet of Pierce getting JV3. He's like, oh, I remember. Like, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
it was so
I
good.
remember. I remember.
That's
I was
funny.
talking to Kept, and I was like, "Oh, Australia only has one notable village." He's like, P9.
P9!
Oh my
Like,
god.
yeah,
crazy.
P9.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
Cap
great.
knows who P9 is.
Of course,
Oh
dude.
my
Kept,
God.
dude. I remember one time P9 was like he saw Kept on stream and he gave Kept some like notes because they're in like a top Villy Discord or whatever, right? And then like Kept just says like thank you. They're like they're on talking basis. You know what I mean?
That's insane. Because in the top warrior Discord, Gluto, Tweak, and like 3 other warriors aren't even in it. Like
Of
the
course
actual,
they're not, because
like the
they're-
literal best warriors, like the top 5 in the world, aren't there.
Of course not, right? But Kept's like, Kept's a bit more humble, and he's also a
Yeah, but
bit
like even
of,
like Hudo's not there.
who?
Hudo.
Yeah,
Like
But-
none of the Japanese warriors are there.
Hudo's
Village players are a dying breed, so they
yeah,
need all of them.
Yeah, true,
there's a
they need each other.
camaraderie there. You know what I mean? There's not like an influx of fucking warriors that happened in 2019 that no one just seemingly remembers. You know how everyone and their fucking mother had like a secondary warrior. You know,
Mm.
so now Kept seems like really cool. Also, yeah, like Gakt too, just very grounded people. I think.
They're very good to talk with.
And
and
any
eat with
funny
in general.
stories? Any funny stories?
Yummy.
Yummy.
Honestly, like, did you guys have any like sneaky D&Ms in when you guys were like eating and stuff? Like, oh, what's the secret? Like, how are you guys so good?
The secret.
I asked for tips, and they were just like, "Oh, jump off ledge more, but at different timings." That was literally the one advice they kept giving us was just
Yep.
jump off ledge,
Ledge
but
play.
at different timing mix-ups.
Because you said like right, we have like PTSD from near Tono, like just ledge shoving us to death, right? Pichu near. So I think what Bradley you said right, it's like you wanted to keep going high, right?
Yeah,
Because-
against Kept, I kept trying to go high over him because I'm like, I'm fine taking a hit as long as I don't go off stage and get hit more. But he was just like, no, you have to be confident in yourself at the ledge to get off. Otherwise, you're never going to get off.
Dude,
Yeah.
I watched both sets of Seb and you, and I was like, this is unreal. Like, you actually are winning like 80% of the time.
Dude,
And
I
you
seriously
fucking freak
joked.
out. Like, you make like, it's almost like me versus P9 in 2020, where I'm like winning and then I just like die
You get
randomly
bowling ball
because
at like
I just like
40.
Dude, I
lose
feel
one
that
jump
so hard,
with dash
actually.
attack and I die, right?
Damn.
And then
Yeah.
and you're like, and the thing that he kept doing, you could watch a fucking what's his face, like a Ranai set. It's the jump off ledge down air. He kept
Yeah, no,
doing,
I
dude,
I
it was
eventually
actually
started.
yeah.
It was like fucked up because it's really hard to punish the down air on shield because the
There's
different
drift
turnips.
as
The
well.
different turnips
Ah.
put you in different shield stun.
Yeah, you
So-
have to
and you
punish
can't
it
react
with
to the
punish
turn
it.
Yeah, because
Because
if I press the button too early, like if he gets a triple turnip and I try and jump out of shield straight away, it won't buffer. But if he gets a single turnip, I can jump straight away. But so it's like, but if I jump later and he gets a single turnip, then I still can't hit him. So it's like, it was really hard because I couldn't deal with the turnips putting in my shield in different stun
You have
times.
to not interact with it. Like, you let them
Mm.
jump turnip and whiff punish it by like dashing further back and.
That's what I eventually ended up doing.
But it's hard in the moment, right?
Yeah.
And I was just taken aback by how
I wish
I was
had
taken back. I
another
was taken
set.
aback by a lot of things by Kept actually. So first off, you were just doing really well, right? But
Yeah.
Kept actually was so patient, like typical Japanese like cult like style, right? Like Kept just like there are no moments where they actually reach. You know how like there's a saying in basketball is like you reach, I teach. You know,
Yeah.
like don't go for the cookie jar, brother, or you're getting swatted, right? Not a single fucking reach, not a single fucking scramble where there's a desperation spot dodge, down smash, up smash, bowling ball spot dodge, down smash, fucking
Wait. Who would do
Avoid-
that? Come on,
I
man.
was
Who
true.
would do that?
I was
It's
waiting
true.
for
the
I was
actual
waiting for-
the
I was
ninth
waiting for it.
vortex.
I was waiting
And
for
then
down
Kept-
smash spot dodge.
Dude, and there were moments where you actually get up from ledge, right after he gets up, and then you're both shielding, but Kept actually is behind you, and he just holds, like he holds the fucking line, and I'm
And
like,
I kept holding, and I'm like scared. I'm like, dude, he's gonna grab me, but when is he gonna grab me? I don't want to
yeah,
roll
like, when
away.
is the
What do I
backthrow
do?
and he doesn't do anything, right? And that's a kind of cultural difference, you know? It's not like it's inherently better or worse or anything. It's just it's different. And what I think, right, like that Kept had as well is like that composure. Like he's been there, being like last hit on the stage way more than you have, Bradley, right? And you're actually just like winning. You're actually
I was.
there's
You're
a
outplaying.
fucking universe where you're beating him, you know, but you freak out at like the last hit scenarios, or you go for like an unnecessary risk, or like a bit lazy on your recovery, where you get too framed by dash attack when you know that you could just avoid that, right? And you die for it, and I'm like, holy fuck! Like, how is it? How did he lose that?
I got like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, during the end of that set, I was just like so emotionally destroyed that I was just choking and freaking out in every last hit. That
Yeah, I saw that up B, and I was like,
no, I did the up B because he did a slingshot, and I'm like, if I air dodge this, I get hit by the second slingshot. So I up B'd, and I beat out his slingshot with the start of the move. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I hope my drift gets me over all this, and I just couldn't get over it all. So I was like,
Yeah.
fuck. Like, if you watch it back, I do beat one of his slingshots with the up B.
yeah,
what
yeah. I
What I
noticed.
should have done is I should have been confident in myself, and I should have just used Waft to recover.
Yeah, because
I'm realizing I'm like, using half waft at 90, it's like it's better for me to be on stage at like 30% than for me to have half waft and be on
But you
stage at
think you
80.
need the?
80, yeah.
Did you think you need the waft to like beat him though?
I
Yeah.
think I needed a waft, but I was generally getting a waft.
But you also need to live as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I
that
should have just conceded. I should have just conceded. Like, yeah, I'm losing waft, but I'm coming back to stage.
one of the hardest decisions. But actually, like the
I
thing
low-key
that
should
I
have just let him grab my bike if it meant getting back on stage one more time. Like, if I'm at like 60, and like the only way I can recover is using bike, but he's gonna pocket it, I should just let him pocket it and get back on stage.
yeah.
Like, low-key. Like, that sounds like really silly, but it's like if I'm just gonna die every time off stage, I've got to just give it up and do that.
You know what the thing that I found was like really interesting about your set though, right? And I was talking to like it just reminisces a lot of Riziasu, like a lot watching Kept and how patient he was, right?
I've never
Nick-
watched Riziasu play.
It's really jarring, but you know for a fact that he's like incredible as a player, right? But I was watching it and it was just reminding me of what Nick was saying about Riziasu, how it's just like he's really good. He just makes the correct decisions a lot and like
Yeah.
very, very fast, right? And the correct decisions aren't actually getting hits. It's not something very obvious to you. It's not like you look at someone, you're like, they're good because they're getting combos or hits. It's like it's correct plays that get out of unfavorable situations and that creates favorable situations, right? And I was watching you versus Kept, and you're like really overwhelming him in certain aspects, right? But
Yeah, I felt
nothing-
offensively great.
yeah, offensively great, but he is not actually like aside from some moments, right? When
He's
when
not
they
chopping.
count, he's not fucking dying.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah, he
knows
lived.
like especially Lost Dog, like it's just very like I'm willing to like play in certain spots that don't get me killed here, you know? And I play like I like have trust that I can find the win eventually, you know? It's like it's this like lack of urgency, I think. Right? There's no like fear where it's like I have to get this, I have to get this, I have to get this. And
that caused like Seb's downfall. He was gonna beat Gakt in a game until he started not trusting himself.
Yeah.
And just started throwing 20 roll back airs. Like, dude, you just
Or
you didn't
no.
need to.
When we were at the Mackenzie house with Ernest and
Everyone,
Ghost
like-
and Johnny, they were like Ghost like made the observation. He's like, Seb has 2 modes, and when he like starts losing, he goes into like Rob Nair
Step
corner mode, and he like only throws out Gyro and Nair for like 10 seconds straight, and it's like that is just Seb like not trusting himself for a bit.
Yeah, that's like old Seb as well. He used to.
When he
would
freaks
be
out,
like-
he's just like, what are Rob's
he-
good
he-
tools?
He'd
right?
be like
Going back
110%.
to the old me.
He'd be like 110% on 2 stocks, and you know he would take your first stock. You're at 0% 2 stocks, and he's at 110% 2 stocks, and it's like, I'm gonna stand in the center of the stage. I'm gonna hold the shield button, and this dude is gonna gyro nair on my shield 4 times.
Yeah.
And I've just gotta keep punishing it every time it happens until he drops the gyro, and then he's.
There's a fear, you know, and
But,
that's
like,
the
There was
there's
a while where Seb stopped doing that, and he actually started to like proper adapt off platform, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm getting shit on.
yeah, that's the thing that I also found out as well. I felt like when I was watching Gakt vs Seb, it was like it's like someone's playing the game, like someone's seeing what's actually happening, and the other one is like doing everything out of fear. Like Seb's like his nairs in disadvantage that gets him killed from PK rockets, and it's just like you can't like. There's no way you get hit by that, you know? Like that doesn't happen when you watch like the really, really top level players play,
Yeah.
right? But then that probably happens because Seb's like this is like he's obviously had experience versus like lots of top level players, right? But like I'd imagine going to like a foreign country, like there's like a plethora of things that's going on, and like Gakt is like obviously a really good player as well. There's a lot of expectations, and Gakt's just like hitting him like it's just so strange. I really don't know how to explain it. It's like it's like an experience diff, you know? But it doesn't feel like, and this is the thing that's really great about all these like all of you guys going internationally. It's like I always feel like there's no embarrassment, right? It's like you guys actually can compete. Like you guys are doing it. but there's just like a diff. There's like a
We're
diff.
just not ready to get the win.
That slight diff, but that it's not insurmountable. You know, it's not like
It's like the whole set we're proving that we can do it, and then we just for a second we show our like weaknesses, and we're just like, yeah, we can't do it yet. We just gotta do this. We gotta do this until we can do it.
Fortitude, like that confidence, and like that like, yeah.
I feel like even in Australia that's applicable as well. There's a lot of
For sure.
there's a lot of players who like go close, like for as an example, Anthony. Sorry to bring you up, but like there's a lot of times where Anthony and I have sets where we're both honestly like it could go either way, but then I just don't crack, whilst he cracks more than me.
Yeah, because there's like it's like you've been there
And
plenty
same
of
with
times.
us as well, low key honest.
Yeah, it's true, right? You've been there plenty of times, and you've versed a lot more of the like top level, gone further in bracket, so you're more comfortable on that field, right? And then for Anthony and I, we're like trying to get the upset because we know like we want it badly, right? And then it's that difference in composure and confidence.
Getting the
like,
upset's a lot harder than avoiding getting upset.
Yeah, like for sure, right? Especially like for people of like your caliber, right? But it never feels like Anthony and I are like out of the question of beating you, you know? And I feel like that's kind of like a similar-esque comparison between like you and like Kept and Gakt and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like
I feel like
we can just talk about like our friendlies. Yeah, of course the friendlies versus them, but like
well, the friendlies is different.
I feel like if I had another set versus Kept, it would be a lot closer.
But like, yeah, we're playing
But,
this.
like-
They don't feel unbeatable, right? Like,
Yeah.
Nah, but oh my god,
I think being scared, I'm like, oh, are they beatable? And then when I'm playing the set, suddenly I'm like, oh my god, they're beatable. Having that thought just like scared me.
exactly.
Yeah.
that's why the game's all up here.
Because I haven't thought to myself like, oh my god, they're beatable in so long. Because I know everyone in Australia is beatable because I've done it before. But for international players, I've never really done it like that. So it's like I don't know if they're beatable yet.
who was I talking to? I think it was like while we were playing friendlies and talking about like, oh, it was close in friendlies, but tournament is completely different because it's like
in one of the
their use of like experimentation during friendlies is probably a lot more like.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh probably would have said this. It's like a lot more like intentional of them trying to like limit test, and then tournament it's just like, all right, well now we're not going to limit test anymore, and now we're actually just going to play to win.
Like you try to edge guard the character that's really scary off stage in friendlies because you're like, I need to figure out things. But then tournament bracket, you're not gonna go there because you're like, the risk is there's so many variables at play. I'm gonna make the smarter in-game decision and opt for a different place to.
I'll just say that Gakt's recoveries. I only got to play 2 games with Gakt. It's like his recoveries are like. There's a reason. I don't know. Like,
be ashamed of yourself.
I was doing pretty good against.
Okay,
I was doing pretty good against recoveries myself. I was like, damn, this is not as bad as I thought it would be, and then I would lose anyway.
Yeah, but like, it's like he would, I mean, I just don't even know why any of the Aus Nesses don't do the
super
you know,
low one.
they circle, they do the standard circle to get back to stage, and then just gonna get 2 framed by Palu. But like, he would like delay, he would draw like a fucking different shape first. So I would like
miss the Fibonacci sequence before he comes back.
Yeah,
the golden ratio.
It's like there's nothing with those 2 players. Like I played Kept a lot, but with even my experience of my very small experience with Gakt, it's like nothing. There's nothing lazy happening in his gameplay, right? Like if he saw there's an opportunity to go a bit further off stage and kill me with a forward air, like a Nest forward air or back air off stage, he's got to do it instead of just doing the fucking down smash, edge guard, which is so like, which I have a chance not to get hit by, and I can reversal him off it, for example, and then just like really, I don't know, just like
he knows
disadvantage as well. Like,
way more points. Like he sees way more green lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Than the other guys. He sees that you're at this distance before you've teleported, and you're like,
yeah,
I can hit that. Go out there. But then a lot of people won't even know that that's a green light. They'll be like, oh, that's just uncontestable,
Uncontestable. Yeah. Charge a down smash that might not hit anyway. Like,
easy.
I didn't get to play any friendlies with Kept, sadly, because Seb and Anthony were hugging him. But I did get to play friendlies with Gakt. And in my first game versus Gakt, I JV3'd him. Like, and I was just like, whoa, what? Is this what it's gonna be like in tournament? It's obviously not. But then the next friendly I also won last hit, and I was like, oh my god, wait, I'm doing fine. And then the next two were both like 90% last hit as well, and I was just like, this is like. I always feel like I think this when I play against international people, but I always expect more from like the absolute top ones, but it's all the high level ones that freak me out.
Wait,
Like-
that's it's true. Until you probably play
Yeah.
like versus like a Mars or a Light or like
Like,
MK Leo, like actually they're probably not going to shit on you as hard as you think. Unless
Yeah,
they're,
like if
a very
I were to
specific
play
top player.
against if I were to play against Light, I feel like I could get really close to taking games. But if I were to play against someone like just a little bit lower, like if I were to play against SkyJ, I think I'd just get mollywopped. Like actually just
But you know,
like-
there's a difference though.
Yeah.
no, but like
You know that
but like
you're way more comfortable versus one character than another.
but like even like then like I could play against like MK Leo's Byleth, and then I could play against like who's the next best Byleth?
Lie.
I'm trying to think of a good example. I've
Lie.
got a pretty bad. Who's
Oh, it's
Lie?
a different character.
Oh, a different character.
Maybe if you play against MK Leo's Corrin and you play against Shaddix Corrin, I reckon. That,
Oh,
that
like
could be
yeah,
fun.
like MK
Yeah.
Leo's Corrin, I feel like I could go fine with. But then if I played against Shaddix Corrin, I feel like I would just, I'd get finished. And I
Yeah.
don't know
Would
if
you
it's because
would
they're
you
not trying as
Would you
hard,
be
but it's
Proto
like,
Manham?
Oh my god.
That's always the test in my head. It's like, would this guy beat Proto Manham? Can he beat Leon?
I mean, it's even like in like Oz Smash. It's like I feel like yeah, I could play against Strix. It would be close, but I think I could win. And then I could play against someone like Spamage, and I would probably, or like Fried Rice, and I would just freak out. I'd be like, what the hell?
But
Hey,
you're-
Nick
what
McKenzie
you're-
would beat Protobanum.
what you're doing, right, is you're attributing player rank into an equation that player rank
No,
is...
they're all like high level players. That's the thing,
No,
though.
but
They're all
there's
like,
a difference between Shrix and Spamage, right?
is there?
But yes, there is.
Yeah, there it is.
Shrix is like top 3, and Spamage is like
Top 10.
Spamage is top 10, Might be.
But that's only like 5 people different though.
But you know for a fact that's a difference, right?
There's a
but-
tier gap still. Yeah.
But
But
what I'm trying,
yeah, but that's like saying Jono compared to Strix. It's like, well, yeah,
no,
there's a
that's like saying
gap.
Shrix
It's
compared
one-
to me, and that's a big difference, right? But the point I'm trying to make, right, is I think you are subconsciously looking at like an arbitrary placing of like a tier list or like placing or ranking, right? And you see like these top players I'm like so scared of, but I'll be doing a lot better against. But then like maybe like players slightly lower than I'd feel way more scared about. But in reality, it's like it's just you look at like this guy and you look at all the variables at play, the characters, their play styles, like how well you have experience against and matching up against, and like that's just really it.
Yeah,
How-
it's not a linear thing where it's like, oh, the number 1 player in the world would smash me the hardest, then the number 2 player would smash me the second hardest. And
right.
it's not a linear progression, right? It definitely is a play style thing, play
But I
style, character, like etc.
And I think the thing that you're also talking about, Bradley, which I feel like I can sympathize. Tell me if I'm off the mark about this, by the way. But I feel like there's kind of like not an idolization or like a glorification, but it's like you can like you see that like these guys are like the top and are really good, and you're like, damn, like there's no way I can like even contest, right? I'm not asking to like win
I don't
games.
idolize.
No, that's I didn't say
You're
like
saying? Oh.
no. Like the skill is like you're looking at like how good these players are, and you're like, damn, like there's no way I can like even like make like even have like a chance, right? But then you play them in friendlies and you realize like, oh wait, like I'm actually doing okay. Like it doesn't have to be taking games, but it's like you can feel when you have control in a game, right? And you're like,
Yeah, but-
wait, you have control, but then it's like this is just weird, like, and then you're like, oh, maybe I can do it, right? But then at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, because you actually are like good enough to contest,
Yeah, but it's like I don't think I idolize players or like think I'm going to do bad. I think no matter who I play against in the world, I think I have a chance to win just because I think I'm good enough. But
okay.
but it's like when it's like my first time playing against an international player in like 3 years. It's like obviously I'm gonna be a bit spooked, but it's like I do it a lot with Gluttony, where I watch Gluttony play, and I'm just like, I think there's a day where I play better than Gluttony, and it's like I think I can just, and that's like.
But how many
I don't think that's
times
unreal.
do you need to run that simulation for that to occur?
Yeah, but the problem is also it's like I don't like what happened at Uprising. I don't get on the stage often enough to prove that I can do it, and it's like I obviously would freak out where Guido would say they're rock solid, and it's like I often look at like just him as an example, and I'm like I think some aspects of my gameplay are actually better than his, but it's like I don't think I would be able to keep it together on the stage, but it's like if I had enough time, could I like
And you probably could.
yeah, I mean I think I could. I
But
think
then I'm curious, like, why do you feel spooked when you were playing Gakt before
'Cause-
you actually played in friendlies?
like
Too much on the line.
what do you mean by like I think I was just scared because I had expectations.
Well, and what were those expectations?
Well, I was third seed, so I wanted to get third. But so when suddenly I was like, wait, Australia's probably all going to be rooting for me and Seb primarily. Obviously Anthony as well, but primarily me and Seb. So I'm going to have like the entire Australian scene watching me in the Twitch chat. But it's like,
Wait, this is Gakt in friendlies.
oh, in friendlies, no, I was fine in friendlies. I was just like surprised I stomped him as hard as I did. I thought it would be closer, but I was
Yeah,
like,
and that's what I mean. Like, why were you surprised? You know, that's what I'm trying to pinpoint.
because he just like, I don't know. I just beat him.
Wait, it's
again.
like when you play
It's like I'm not thinking like I wasn't treating that friendly like it's a bracket match because it's not. It's like I don't remember how he played it all. Like really, I just remember I got him to last stock and I zeroed to death him in like 4 seconds with a waff combo. It's like I just remember I did that. I'm like, oh sick.
It is weird. I'll give my because like my expectation, it's like I don't think I'll expect this anymore. But it's like obviously Kept and Gakt are they're the best players of their characters probably in the world, right? I don't think many people would disagree.
Nah, P9 the goat.
Okay, and
mean,
same
that's
as
contentious, but-
and then same as probably like near Tono when he came, right? Like it's like you expect. I don't know. It's like when you hear like, oh, this player is the best player of this character in the world. It's like
This guy is top 15 in Japan and he plays. He's the best of this character in the world.
They're probably going to kill me in one hit, right? But it's not. That's not really what makes them successful. It's like them killing you in one hit. It's like a multitude of factors. Like it's like how they utilize their whole kit in like every aspect of the game in terms of like neutral, edge trapping, edge guarding. Edge guarding is the big thing. Their edge guarding is way fucking better than any like player I've ever played against. Both of them. You know, and their ledge trap, flow charts are just so solid, right? It is like, I mean, that is the main thing. I mean, we learned this from Near Tono when he came, right? Again, it's just like,
Just hold shield the legend, you can't beat it.
dude. Yeah, or it's just like any option you try and take. Like when I was playing against Kept a lot, it's like a common option. Obviously I want to do is just jump down, teleport, right? But that was prepared to be covered 100% of the time, even on a slower character like Villager, right? So like I found it really hard to mix up, like even going center stage or just neutral get upping. He's covered it, right? He's thought about every option I can do. He's already got like a pre-planned answer and like how to cover basically everything.
It was like just really strange to play against because it's like it's not like you're seeing anything new. It's just they're doing it really good.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that really caught me off guard was the fucking Isabel, which is something I've never seen before.
Yeah,
like,
I've never played against Isabel in my. I don't think I've
broken.
ever played an Isabel in bracket before, other than when I went to Evo, and it's like because I had to play a random Isabel in like round 3, and I almost lost, and I was freaking out. But like even then, that Isabel, like I thought. I don't know. I just kind of kept it close. I kind of just kept it close, and I was like, okay.
But me and Seven friendlies were actually bodied. Like actually,
you
the
kept
jab
getting
is
up tilted.
so
I don't get
broken. The up tilt is so broken, and the jab
It's
is
not.
actually like the best jab in the game. Like he wasn't even using side B. When I think of Isabel, I'm like, oh, the reason you pick it. I tried to ask him. He had to translate it, and like he didn't really understand. So he got his phone out to Google Translate. I was like, why would you pick Villager over Isabel? It wasn't. It's not really a matchup thing. He just said like. It's more like player tendency thing, I think, and like how like some of Isabel tools are more favored into like certain like what the opponent wants to do instead.
Yeah, it's true.
So that particularly with the Lloyd, right? So obviously like sometimes what I'm thinking is like maybe it's like easier to have ground control in Isabel because of like the down B. So
Maybe
if you're
it's
play,
able to be able to box with someone.
Yeah.
And just, you know.
yeah. And then obviously just like the fucking Isabel jab is just it's so annoying. It's like I'm at 80 again. Boop, 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 boop. Like it's just.
And then you cup the water bucket.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough for all of us at Uprising. We all lost, and we were all pretty. We all were on some insane copium after our set.
So I heard Anthony.
Give us some copium.
I heard you might need a therapy session, bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm not gonna lie though. Being at a hotel, oh my god, actually.
Saved us. First of all, the venue was really nice. I thought. Very well set up. Like kind of nice spectating area. The only thing is the commentators were they were amplified.
They had no headphones. No headphones. The commentary was everyone could hear, and hearing. I'm not gonna lie, it really like felt bad whenever Ashen would just win like a neutral exchange with like a Mithra Nair or a random Mithra dash attack, and I'm like, yeah. No shit, they won neutral. Look at those moves, and then the whole Korean crowd would pop off, and I'm just
but we do
these fucking
we did the same with Jono.
Oh my god,
we did the same with Jono when he lands the fire arrow, dude.
Dude, yeah, actually, when Jono did anything to Neotone, I was freaking out.
No, when Jono landed the fire arrow on MK Leo at Smash on Tour, we're fucking popping.
Yeah, but we weren't in the crowd.
Yeah.
And also, like, even in like Phantom, Neotone had headphones at least. The commentators were just cheering whenever Ashen got a hit on me. I was just so tilted. I could not like just so much noise not cheering for me. It felt so overwhelming. I didn't know what to do.
The crowd usually cheers for you back at home, even, right? So
yeah, well,
yeah,
most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what Jason's gonna say, right? Like, it's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but it feels so like
it feels
demoralizing to not. Yeah, it feels so awful, actually.
Yeah, dude, it sucks.
Sucks.
But that's just part of it, and I realized that as well.
I just wish I had headphones. If I like, cause
they don't change anything.
They do.
They don't.
No. They do. Because Seb had headphones.
For 0-1, it does.
No, because Seb had headphones that I could borrow when I was against Gakt, and I felt like I was able to because they were really good noise cancelling ones, and I could not actually hear anything in the crowd. I could only hear the game, and I felt pretty good. And then Seb, after he lost to Linzel, went back to the hotel room taking his headphones with him. So when I went from playing against Kept, and being in my own zone, and then I went to playing Ashen, it was just like I suddenly was just like so different. I was like, whoa, what's I couldn't even hear myself getting nairs like through the speaker of the TV. I was just freaking out. And I think the noise actually does matter a lot when playing. I think I only want headphones when I'm playing on a stage now.
Yeah, the thing is, right, you can't, these are things out of your control. Headphones, the reason why I have headphones is because I was, on your copium for a while. I was I want to, be able to...
But is it copium if it, genuinely just makes me feel better playing with headphones?
Yeah, it is, because one day you're going to be in an environment where your noise-canceling headphones can't save you. And you're going to lose, and you're going to be like, if only I installed a better program on my noise-canceling headphones or whatever, right? But you know for a fact that you need to,
if I've got a crowd that's loud enough to beat my headphones, I'm on the Evo main stage, and I'm happy enough as it is.
No, you won't be, right?
If only Around the World started playing on my headphones instead.
For a fact that being a competitor is not just about playing at your peak and identifying yourself as a level that you're confident in. It's about being able to make sure that your worst level of play is also a level of play that you can play with and that you're good enough at that can beat viewers, right?
But it's also if I'm playing a set, I don't want a bad controller. I want a good controller.
Yeah,
I've heard enough of it from Seb. Honestly, Seb was actually starting to make me go fucking crazy after this Korea trip. He's like, pro con the whole trip.
It's just the same thing. Josh will just say the same thing, right? And it's how many times are you going to say to yourself all these external variables that might seem reasonable and probably are, but then you realize that the thing that you can control the most is the thing in game. It's yeah, your teammates in league,
But that's why it
your
feels good
teammates in
though.
league objectively are shit.
No,
right?
but that's why it feels better. Like when I'm playing a game, it feels good because if I'm making a mistake, I know I'm making a mistake. That's all my fault. But when I can't control something, that's when it annoys me. Like I can't
Yeah,
control the crowd,
Part of being
so I want
competitive,
something.
part of
So
being
I want to play without the crowd from now on. So it's like it's easier then. If I have noise canceling headphones, I'm actually playing more in game than I am out of game, and it feels better because there's less variables than if I have headphones.
yeah, that's exactly
That's why I just
I
want
have.
them now.
That's why I have it too. But I'm also saying that like you need to also accept the fact that there might be a surprise further down the road where like that's you're still the problem actually is not it's not gone. You know, you might have put a band-aid over it, but you're going to have to be prepared for one day when the bad day gets ripped over because it's like the volume's too loud, right? And that's what I experienced
Well,
when I went to
I'm
band
just
day.
gonna
But,
tell the TOs I want headphones, and if they don't give them to me, I'm just gonna call their event shit. That's just a bad tournament if that's the case. Like I'm
well,
being honest.
well,
That's like I mean a local, I'll give it up. But like if you got a monthly or a major and you don't have headphones, it's like what's like that's just a shit event. Honestly, that's like go next.
dude, that's like
Go to a major, you go to Shine, and there's no water. Like that's a pretty big problem.
and that's what I mean. Like, if you actually want to be that much better, if you want to be like really good, right? It's like you can't pick and choose your days, you know? Like,
But no, yeah.
it's like you should be smart enough to realize that this is the reality you have to face, right? Like, you have to be good. You have to be so good that like when you recognize that there are things outside that are taking you out of the game, you have to lock yourself back in the game, you know? And like
Yeah.
that's something that I like realized really hard at Phantom, where I have noise canceling headphones, right? And like I was playing on stage, and I was just hearing like the crowd, and it was just like, and not even just the crowd, but acknowledging the fact that there's so many different stimulus going on, right? And it was just like making me so nervous, right? And like I could have been like, yeah, blah 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 blah, like, but and like I know that like Sumi at that moment was playing like way better than I was, right? But and she was fucking nervous too, obviously. But and like it's so easy for me to just be like, I played so shit. Like I know I could like I would beat her, blah 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 blah. But it's like there is a problem here, and it's internal within yourself, and you need to solve that. And when I played Kai Chimera, I don't think Kai Chimera is beyond me. I know that I'm capable of beating him, right? If I play well and shit like that. But like when I was playing on like with the entire ACT crowd behind me, literally like laughing every time I got hit by an up B, right? Like think about how demoralizing that is, and it sucked, right? Like nothing like I could just wallow in my own self-pity and be like, man, like life's against me and shit like that, or like this event sucks, or like these people are like so BM or whatever, right? But like that's all that is just taking away from like the game. And like if you actually think about all that shit as well, then it just goes to show like this is such a weak aspect of you as a player, right? And you have to like face that. You can't copium out like a bit like what Jono does, really, like where he's just like, I played bad and hence why I lost because of this or that, or like I ate like a falsy banana, you know, like you know
Surely
I mean?
he does. Surely he doesn't say that.
No, but
you know what I mean, right? Like, I'm obviously hyperbolizing, but you know what I mean. And this is probably the diff. Like, do you see Gakt or Kept like fucking like going on Twitter and being like, I lost because like this and this and that and shit like that, you know, like
I mean, listen, Gakt at the after party was a bit. Oh,
probably really
he was insanely coping. It was quite sad to look at, honestly.
yeah, but it's like the experienced players obviously know that like everything that they have to do is within themselves. It's the League of Legends fucking thing where people like you want to like how long is it going to take for your silver ass to realize that like you might be better than your teammates, but you have to be like way better to climb the ranks if that's what you really want, you know? It's the same shit, really.
Yeah.
And you're
like
just lying to yourself if you're going to be like
being so good that like external outliers won't stop you, basically, right?
yeah, like it doesn't actually matter if you identify with like your once in a month performance that's platinum level. You need your fucking like 25 days in a month like platinum level
Dude, it's
Yeah.
identified as platinum.
the Armada, it's like my B day is still gonna beat someone's A day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
But
sure.
basically, the tournament we were just all on insane copium.
Anthony,
Learning experience.
Anthony,
what happened, man?
Do you want to talk? Man
Captain
Ray?
Falcon down there and Captain Falcon up there. Just completely. No, it was like the most awful. It might have been the most awful loss I think I've ever had. Like in terms of throwing. And this is something where I'm just not there yet, right? I noticed against both Linzel and Man Ray who I lost to, is just the gameplay. I'm even Linzel, right? I think this guy's a lot better than me, but my gameplay just slowed the fuck down. And obviously that's when that happens, I'm just not gonna win because this guy's just gonna he's gonna outdo me. But it's I just con it out, right? Go for the edge guard, get reversal, die. When I've had whole
Missed the
lead.
tech on Falcon up B.
Missed the tech on Falcon up B. When I didn't have to I didn't have to take that risk, right? But it's weird. It's the sense of urgency wanted me to win. I just freaked out. Yeah.
You wanted it too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Seb.
Yeah. We all. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then Seb, after he lost to Linzel, he just went straight back to the hotel room. He just down to soju or two, and
Yeah,
then he
I
came
just
back.
went straight to have a sleep.
I'm about to say, and after I lost to Ashen, I did have a little bit of a toss, bit of a. I went stone skipping.
With the controller, mate.
Yeah, then I went back to Anthony and I'm gonna go to the hotel room for a bit. So I went up there and me and Seb's just sitting there in bed with
All of you guys are just salted out.
Dude, and then Seb's
on
just
day 2 because my salting was on day 1. But
Oh yeah.
And then Seb's just he's just sitting in his bed. He's got a soju in his hand and we just look at each other and we're just shaking our head
Yeah, man.
And then we just sat there. We watched 2 more sets. We watched losers semis and winners finals on the thing. And at this point we're both down to 2 sojus in 10 minutes, and we're already just on the verge of just being fucked. And we're just yo, let's go back down and watch Grands. It's yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So we just went back down and joined after that. We just had to go back to the room, grab a few drinks, and then we were good.
Yeah.
It's
Grands was great. Yeah.
Insane coping mechanism, but it's worked actually.
Grands was great.
The Australian way.
The next morning,
Drink your problems
the next
away.
Morning,
wow.
Dude, the next morning, Seb and I would just Seb would just randomly say, "Dude, I lost to Linzel," and we're "Shut up, man! Shut the fuck up!" And then I'd be "I lost to Ashen," and then Anthony's "I lost to Vine Green too." Oh my god. It was really it was kind of funny actually how hard we coped over that, but it didn't take away from the trip really. As soon as that day was over, we're just oh yeah, Korea was still awesome.
Yeah, and the scene's great as well. I still really like the scene a lot. I would love to compete there. I wish I could go play there monthly this month.
I would hate that actually.
But I'm a big fan of them, the meta there and how they play. I just see that's the way to play the game, and I just think it's really impressive that how young their scene is and how quickly they developed, right? It's again, they probably have put in their hours, right?
And they've got no Smash 4 as well.
End of the day, right? It's reasons why the Koreans are the best at multiple games is these guys, they put in the hours, they put in the work, they know what to do.
Yeah, they travel 2 hours just to play friendlies for 3.
Yeah. And also they can the thing in Smash, they can grind with the Japanese players.
Yeah, they're
on
Wi-Fi.
Or they can travel there as well.
Our hotel Wi-Fi was good enough for
Seb was playing Smashmate for a little bit instead of playing with us.
Yeah. And we're Seb, can we play friendlies? And he's no man, I gotta play this Ken on Smashmate, and he just gets fucking destroyed by this random Ken.
Yeah.
And we're just laughing at him the whole time, you are dog shit.
Yeah, he posted. I think he went 17-3 or something. He had
No, he went
20-3.
20-3.
20-3? Yeah.
Right? That's really good.
Yeah, he got ranked 1,000th on Smashmate before he had to go.
Yeah, probably could have climbed a lot higher. Kanaji was ranked pretty high, what I saw.
Yeah, it's but it's yeah. And then,
he actually ran into Linzel on Smashmate.
Yeah, he ran into Linzel on Smashmate.
Yeah.
And then they went last hit, and then Seb won that one.
And that's probably why they're so good. Online.
Yeah, actually, Tanaka
Yeah.
showed us a photo in Smash 4, or him being ranked 5th, I think, on the ladder. And I'm like, oh, is there any names I could recognize like on here? 'Cause most of them are Japanese. And apparently the person behind him was Zakro.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, I think just it occurred to me, and it was just like, oh, connecting the dots. Why they're so good at like being disciplined with their flowchart is because they probably online is probably a huge aspect of their grind. And
Yeah.
online, you get value for being really good at your flowchart,
Yeah, and it's like,
and that's Kanaji.
and another problem is like if I were to play Smash, like this is like one thing I wish like Australia had, like just better online, because when I play Wi-Fi's in Australia and I play against like what's his name, like Yato the fucking Sora,
Oh
or
my
like
god, Yato.
I play against like Big Tom 2007 the DK, and I'm just like, all these players are just dog shit, laggy, motherfuckers, just these bullshit dickheads, right?
Wait, is
And then
Yato
and
beat
then I get to play against Demo for like 2 hours. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is better.
This is.
Well, it's like if Australia, I don't think Australia has
Is
the
that his-
infrastructure to do like a ladder
Is
system.
Yato the?
But like,
Yeah, we do not, because the problem is that Australia already knows everyone, but in Korea, you can also connect with Japan, and in Japan, like you don't know anyone. It's like everyone is just so good. But in Australia, when you're like playing Wi-Fi's and the best person you can run into at any time is just like Demo, which is pretty good, or you
That's
find
why you have to play Wi-Fi tournaments.
no, but like we just can't. It's too
because
laggy. It's
the
not
ladder
good.
matchmaking is such a
It's so
better
much better.
idea. Like, if
But
I don't know, if we have done. There have been like
Yeah, we did
ladders
have
in
the
it.
Oz Smash ladder, but it was like 8 people who were doing it, and they were all just like
Because
Wi-Fi
you also have
warrior.
something to work to, right? There's a
Incineroar
rank.
mains.
There's a ranking, obviously, right? I'm sure that's a big incentive for like players.
It-
That's
it
how players like Akola and Amir came out, right? They were ranked first on this ladder system.
Yeah, and it's also like I feel like the comparison is like if you were to play chess in like with the world, right? On like if you were to play like light chess or like chess.com and you were playing on the global ladder, right? That's like you're getting so much experience. But then if you were to like region restrict it, so you only played other Australian chess players, that's just like it just feels so terrible. Like it would feel just bad that you're finding the same people, and eventually it becomes player matchups over character matchups because you can't.
This is just learned helplessness. You know that, right? Like you.
Yeah, I feel kind of doomed about Australia Wi-Fi after going to Korea. It's like
Bro, like
it was getting to the point
Oh,
Seb would actually rather play Wi-Fi than with us.
going to America and you're like, wow, everyone's just so good. I like come back to Australia. It's just doomed. Like fucking.
But it's more like the Wi-Fi, like just having good internet. It just
No,
like it's not in our control. It feels bad.
No, like I like sure, right? Maybe like 5 frames of latency matters a monstrous amount. But low key, I think it's literally just there's a lack of will and there's complacency. Like because
I think so. Yeah, I agree.
we have it good. We have so many tournaments, right? So there's always the alternative escape option of being like, I'm just gonna go locals and shit. And then when you're there, you're like, I feel good. I'll play my secondaries, or I'll play this, or I'll play this person, and I'm just gonna beat this person because I want this money, or like I want this ranking, or like I don't feel like it. Here. In these countries, they don't have privilege. They don't have that luxury of having so many things. So they actually go focus all their energy on like perfecting their craft and shit. And then there is like a culture of fucking Wi-Fi fucking fiends that just have ended up like creating this like climate of fucking high level Wi-Fi Kanaji discounts, you know? And like really, Australia can probably do that too. But you go on QuickPlay and you look at like the fucking like average and you're like, wow, like everyone's so shit, right? But you can also just go to Wi-Fi tournaments, right? And like maybe 90% of the people on Wi-Fi like on tournaments are like bad, right? But you have a high likelihood of versing someone that's actually knows what they're doing, you know? And like you don't have to stop at just being like, I can beat this guy. You can continue, and this is what Nick's good at, right? He doesn't see it as like the end of getting number one. You can perfect your craft infinitely. Like if you're not fucking MK layering people and JV4ing everyone, right? There's always something to work on, and you can use this mode of playing against a consistent amount of people in a certain setting that requires you to have to find different strengths in your style of play, right? And you use this with the fucking goal of being better, right? And like not limiting yourself with external factors. Like our scene could be so much better, but what it is just there is complacency because we're very lucky, and not lucky in the sense of having a good top level depth, but lucky because it's low-key just Australia as a whole, like as an entire country. It's the same sort of like ethos, you know. We have privilege of locals and good community and shit like that, and like we get happy, and then that's it. Like, but we can keep getting better and better and better.
Keep getting better. I think that's the thing, right? Like, I think we could look to utilize like Wi-Fi better. For
Just
example.
arenas, man.
Yeah.
Just like contact top players.
Well,
right?
no, but like like something like this, like a ladder system or some sort of rank board, like something to encourage more people to play in like different ways, right? And different ways to practice. I think.
And the thing is, it's not like you have one thing and that will just magically turn fucking like PT into fucking Chunky Kong, you know? Nothing like that matters, but it's actually the will. Like, it's like creating a platform and creating a good ethos, a culture to make people work harder. Because we're bad because we just don't work as hard as other places. That's just it.
Yeah.
You know? And you're lying to yourself if you think that's like not it, right? And I'm not pointing at like you, Bradley, or like fucking Tricks or like Nick and stuff like that, right? But you know that like the whole community at large is very highly responsible for your growth as a player, right? And like I'm not saying that Australian community doesn't work hard, but we could work so much harder, you know? I think it's like we're pretty respectable. Like we're pretty good, right? But we could be so much better, obviously. But people are just complacent, you know? And that's all it is. Right? And like I think going to Korea and like that's a really great going to any country is a real great opportunity to just culture shock yourself and just realize like the difference in gameplay, the difference in style, but also the difference in like culture and like work ethic, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we always knew that, like yeah, Korean people, they're hard workers, right? Like
Americans are fucking hard workers too.
Yeah.
They're all just selfish fucking idiots. But like they work so hard because the American dream is instilled in their fucking like life, you know? Japan works really hard too. And like they're also just anomalies because I think they're like freaks of nature. But like they obviously still work hard. And the thing with Japan is that they don't stop. Like I think it probably is because they don't have money. They don't have things to stop. You know how everyone has like things to stop where they're like,
this is good enough.
I'm good. This is good enough. They love the game so much that they just keep on perfecting it. They keep on perfecting it, and this trickles down. You know, you just get like so many really great players with different styles and shit. But yeah.
Well, to summarize the trip, I guess were there any main takeaways that's like personally that you would probably want to try and develop now that you're back home and we have locals
Like in
on
like
that stuff?
gameplay,
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
just like in like tournament
Both.
values and that.
You guys are
I
the same.
I think it sounds silly. Maybe for Bradley, this might be more reality, but like you gotta learn how to fight these fucking top tiers, these DLC Pack 2 characters.
Yeah,
like low
I
tiers.
don't
How's
actually
the
know how to
mission?
approach it. Approaching like a top tier just feels so impossible. I'm like I got so
As in,
lost when
like literally approaching, right?
like if I'm losing, how do I hit them? It's just like
yeah.
it just feels genuinely like impossible to beat a top tier. Like especially when I was just playing against like so many of them every day. Like it's like I'm actually kind of disappointed in Australian character meta when I see like when I could like think like, oh my god, what if Jono
And
just
then again,
played
the same
Pyramid,
thing could
like,
be said if they came here and they're shocked at like our character meta because like we're playing some wacky characters at the top, right?
yeah, I mean like Spammy
Yeah.
could obviously like beat them, or Jix could
Yeah.
like beat them with Diddy, which is like not too wild, but like I like genuinely feel like just like playing against those top tiers every single like match just felt so hard compared to like other like because like Korea obviously was very top tier focused, but then like we could compare like even just like Europe, and it's like they have a lot less DLC 2 characters than Korea had, or like even just DLC characters in general. Like we look at like Strix's run, and he had like what did he have? He had a Greninja, a Steve, which is pretty hard, a Palu, a Luigi. Yeah, it's like he did Kazi and Steve, which is like they're like a there's like two different types of top tiers. You got the Kazi and Steve, and then you got the Pyramithra Joker, and it's like I feel like Kazi and Steve at least like they don't have like keep away game like Steve does.
You're talking about the MK Leo characters, right?
Yeah, like we don't have any like our best like MK Leo player is like DMO, but like that's like not like even close to as comparable as like I think Ashen was, with all respect to DMO.
I think just for me personally, it's like before going to these majors, like I need to like if there's a problem in your gameplay, there's like you got to be prepared to like know how to deal with it. Like at the major, it might happen. Like it might get exploited, right? So like what one thing I've always been weak weak to, and this got exploited at like in friendlies before the monthly, was like I'm very weak against just command grabs at ledge. That's something that I always have not known how to deal with, and like that killed my tournament run. That killed my major. Right, like so not having the answers to stuff that could happen is like you should know the answers to stuff that could happen essentially. Like you shouldn't like leave gaps in your gameplay like that, like which I did, right? Like there might be a character specific matchup. Maybe like I've gotten a lot better playing around with items, playing around with like Rob Gyra and DD Banana, but like there used to be a massive problem where it's like I could not use item control at all.
Yeah.
And there's a high chance you run into an item character in bracket and that will stop your run. And like I had this thing with the command grabs, right? I can't play around command grabs at ledge. I'm getting grabbed every single time because my ledge trap flow chart does not work when I shield.
One thing that kind of confused me as well is like when I think about like command grabs at ledge, like all that, I feel pretty confident in my ability to just beat those like weird things, like projectiles. I feel confident with, but like when I was like playing Wario and I'm at like ledge or like at the edge of the stage or whatever, like I'm on one side and there's just a Mithra standing, like literally just standing there, not even like pressing something. Like I genuinely was so like, I was like, do I get the bike and throw it? I'm like, if I try and pick up bike, they just insta dash attack me.
Yeah, you don't know what to do, right?
I was like, I actually did not know what I could do that would approach this character because I was just felt so like player gapped, yes, but also genuinely I just felt so tear gapped. I was so lost. I was like
stage control.
But you also don't
but it's like it's not even just stage control. I'm like if I was at center stage and they were like not like at ledge, but if they were like quarter stage, I would still feel like I feel like Australia, if they had a Mithra at any part in the stage, they would sprint at you and they would short hop nair on your shield, and that would just be like a field day, right? But like, their playstyle was just, we are going to stand here, we are going to wait,
winning position,
literally nothing, but it's like you could be in neutral, like it's not even stage positioning. It's like, and I'm just like I don't know what to do here, like.
You don't practice against this type of playstyle, essentially.
It's like, even if I have a Mithra at the ledge, if I'm at half stage and they're at the ledge and they're not holding shield, it's like, do I jump at them? Do I run at them? Do I just not press anything? And I'm like,
Strix is really good at this.
And I was just so lost. And then eventually it was like, I tried to stop approaching it, and then like, they would like go a little bit closer, and I'm just like,
oh, well, this is scary.
And I'm just like, well, their character is so good. I can get instant dash attacked. I can get instant run up grabbed. It's unreactable basically. I can't do anything. I'm like, and I'm like, all right, the one thing I can do, right? I can jump away. That's the only thing that can't hit me. But then like they go for the instant dash attack as I've jumped away, and I'm like, wait.
You can't punish that.
I'm a floaty. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm gonna punish this.
Right,
I can't. I just couldn't. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna land on them. And then I get hit by Mithra up tilt. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm so lost.
Because you got out of the corner. You got to reset now.
Yeah, so I got the mix up just to reset back into neutral, which I was struggling with in the
It's
first
almost like
place. It's
stage
like
control's fucking broken, Bradley.
no, but like if I was at the ledge, like if they were at the ledge, right? I still would like not be able to approach them if they were
Because
to do that and
that's-
jump at me.
That's character, like that is inherently
It was just
part
huge.
part of your flaw as a character.
Yeah,
right?
but like I
That-
couldn't
that
think of an
cons-
answer, so now I'm
yeah.
just like I'm like kind of Doomer on Wario again. Like
No,
I know I always
that's
come
not
back, but
the
like
answer.
but there is nothing to do. Like
But
it's like
Bradley-
it felt so
So
impossible.
Brad,
Like
okay, so it's crazy that you've just realized this, right? But yes,
No,
this is
it's
what
like
happens when you play a
specifically
character that plays with their limbs. They don't apply the same level of stage control and pressure as like sword characters, right?
but
That's just a
it's not just sword characters as well. That's like fine, but it's like if I were just a limbed character, I would want a projectile. But like my only projectile is my committal to get also recovery. So I'm just like
And-
I'm risking so much to just have a neutral. And I'm
So
just
why-
like
But why?
Like-
Like, so you don't have to play like the answers you have will have to be different from every other character.
yeah,
right?
and what I noticed it's I have no button that beats them, but they have buttons that beat me. So I have to either predict or somehow react to their buttons just so I can do mine. And that just felt so hard. And I
Yeah.
felt like a lot of their characters, Samus, like fighting a lot of those like more passive characters just felt so impossible. Like even when I play against like
Feels very hard.
Flo, it's like a similar thing. But Flo eventually like makes a mistake because he just tries to like, jump on me, like roll, like whatever. He does all this, but like playing against someone who just isn't making mistakes and they just like sit there and don't let you do anything because your character can't at the moment. That's why I went Kazuya, because I just felt like so defeated with Warrior. I was like, I'm gonna try this. We'll
like
see
the
how
buzz-
it goes.
The buzz
And even
has-
then, I felt so like it felt harder, but it felt like I had a projectile, I had laser, and I was able to win neutral with laser, and I was like, okay, this feels better. And I'm
So
just
how do you
like,
think how do you think Gluto deals with it?
how do I think Gluto deals with it?
He plays the exact same matchup.
Yeah, but he also gets to choose.
The best
Small
player in the world.
But he also gets to choose small battlefield every game and Smashville every game.
Ah.
Where
Well, what
stage
about those
where I
games where
can
he has-
play my neutral more.
What about those games?
And-
What about those games that he didn't play on those stages, huh? You got to realize that Gluto is actually doing something that you're not, and he
But,
is so smart. Like,
He is smart.
and that's the thing. That's
But
that's the exciting
I'm
thing.
lost. That's what I'm trying to take away. I'm trying to take away what he does to even beat them. Like I could not ever see Gluto beating Cosmos ever again on Pyramithra. I just can't see it until I need to see it to believe it, and then I'll figure it out. Like I want to know what he does because I don't think he's probably got a set, but I've never seen him beat a Pyramithra. Like when he beats.
He literally beat MKLo at SmashCon.
Yeah, no, but that was Byleth. Like Byleth at least
No,
is
that was
like.
Pyramithra. That was Pyramithra.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, well there's a set I could probably go off.
We'll go
I've
through
just
it. We'll
I've never seen it. Yeah.
It
So
almost
what-
feels like you're just
I'm
overwhelmed
just-
of the potential.
I was overwhelmed by them doing nothing.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was just
it's
so-
like it's
Like Australia, everyone's non-stop pressing shit, doing the most dog shit options,
Yeah,
non-stop
and
pressing.
then you have
and I'm just
opportunities
like,
there. You have opportunities to outplay
yeah, and
there. But
everyone's
this guy-
making mistakes. But
the
like
Korean
when I
meta is
play,
like, they don't give you opportunities to outplay. You just have to fucking.
even Jono is
Yeah.
like, I kind of realized now it's like even with Jono just pressing a projectile, it's like, well, he's like making a mistake if I can't beat this, right? But it's like if he were to press nothing,
Yeah.
well, it would be like
Well,
I'm
just
just
be
like okay.
You should also just be careful with how you like talk about your scene, though, because you need to realize that you are also responsible for the things that you probably hate about the scene. You know, it's a trickle
Well,
down.
I mean, I don't hate the scene though. I just don't like our playstyle when I
yeah,
compare
yeah,
it
but
to
you're
the
a top
Koreans.
player
It
who
is like-
presents a playstyle that
I want
works.
you to realize that there's a self accountability there as well. You know, like like you have responsibility in that aspect.
Mm.
I'm not trying to like shit talk you or anything. I'm just trying to make you avoid the mindset of just constantly blaming the scene and stuff, because this happens so much. It's a really obvious pipeline. It's person X goes overseas, comes back, just be like, fuck, you're all dog shit, you know? And it's just like, and then everyone
I don't know
feels
what-
like,
But I don't think Australia's dog.
I just think
I'm-
it's just
but
like.
I've always
there's some
been
things to
super
take-
optimistic about Australia. It's
Yeah.
just our meta is so much different to theirs that I was like,
yeah.
underprepared, but it was like, but it's like I still think Australia is good. It's just we play so different. I'm not used to it, and it's like that's when obviously I need to go travel more, Smash World Tour. But it's like it's just like playing against certain characters just felt like we don't have Pyramithras. Like I can't blame Australia because like there's no reason to, and also because we just don't have Pyramithras. Like I don't have the experience. That's like fair enough.
But like, something have the Jono, right? He lost to Pyramithra as well.
Yeah, he lost to Pyramithras. We've got none. Like he lost to Shulk. He's never really played Kanaji. It's like that felt just so shit. But it's like if I were like when I lost to Kept, I was like, yeah, this guy's better than P9. But P9 still helped me out a bit. Like I've learned Villager. I don't think I would do nearly this good if it wasn't for P9. But it's like when we have no Pyramithra, the best character in the game, arguably, like. We've got a few jokers, of course. There's like usually one good one each state. We've got like no Steves in Victoria. It's like it feels like there's no. Our meta is so anti-meta,
right?
It feels
you
weird.
Gotta study. You gotta do something within yourself. Like you gotta
but like how am I meant to study for Pyramithra if no one really plays it? Like that's just I guess I have to play it to learn it. I guess like that's probably the best play.
You should Man,
it's like what do you do? Like I can't. Crazy. It's like hard. It's like what do I do? Who's the next best Pyramithra I could practice?
You ever seen Book talk about getting like world class good in Tekken with a scene of 20 people, and how he dealt with things that he didn't know?
I have no clue what that is. I have no clue who that is.
Book is I will link you the video.
Link me it later. Link me it later.
Book's just like geese. No one plays geese in my big scene of 20 people in the fucking country. So what do? I play him and I have to like work things out and shit like that. And it's just like, you just gotta do it yourself and constantly just find things. You know when you're climbing, like you feel like it's helpless, you just gotta find the fucking bolt.
The random rock that's just sticking out.
Yeah, there's always I
haven't found the rock yet, but it's like it feels so mind-boggling just to play against a scene that is so anti-us. Like, it's the complete opposite of us, and they probably felt really overwhelmed by me as well. They probably had to...
And that's what's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. They probably felt the exact same thing. I bet you tonight was like, oh my god, you guys, there's no warrior here to practice. They already have
he told me he used to practice against warrior a lot though. So
but someone else was like that. Maybe Linz was like, fuck, there's no warrior here. Like this is so bullshit.
Yeah, no, Linz actually.
It's just realizing that you aren't special. That's all it is. You're realizing that you are just like, this is a problem that everyone else has encountered. So it's time for me to, you know?
Yeah, and I also would assume like maybe Shrix to a lesser extent probably felt the same about like Skyjay. Just like having an Incineroar, it's like having these characters that we don't have. It's like it feels like in the moment really really tough to like grasp because it's like I just have no experience, but I just
no one's expecting you to win that because realistically, if you
no one expected him to beat Chag either. Like we don't really even have any Palus. We've got Luma, and
that's
like
mistake actually. Like
what did I mean? With all due respect to Shrix, I had no like expectation of him beating Chag.
Oh, look, fake fan.
Hey, I mean, like that's like
that's
a top 20 player in the world, and then there's
Shrix. Experience is very common, and also it's just the
character's a bit simple, yeah.
There's a hope, yeah, and it's like Shrix beating Leon, you know, there's a hope, or like Kanaji being Proto, you know.
I mean that just fucking blows my mind. I still don't know how that happens.
It's fucking weird, right?
He went 1-2 beating Proto. This is like when Jetstar beat me, and then went 1-4 at Temple.
But you know,
except it's like Kanaji going 1-2.
It's a high variable game. It's a high variable game. Like, it's recognizing it's not like you're good and like you're better. It's like you're at that area, and then once you're at that area, there's a chance, you know, like God flips a coin. Yeah,
I just really want to learn how to beat Pyramithra right now.
We'll do it.
Yeah, I'll get there.
We'll make it.
It's so beyond tilting to play against that shit.
Anthony, Shrix, Nick.
I need to learn Ice Climbers as well. And then I need to learn how to beat Ice Climbers. That thing's also something else.
You know, we'll work it out.
Yeah,
and hopefully I can learn before Smash World Tour.
Maybe the last topic is talk about Smash World Tour maybe a little bit.
So you guys are going, right?
Yeah, Anthony, are you going?
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, I just figured this out while in Korea that actually it's very, 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 very well. It's first of all, Jono's just going. That's just 100%. And then Shrix and DD I've probably locked in their spot already.
Yeah, we've got enough points.
After getting their points from Uprising / Wanted and boss battles.
Yeah, so it's like we're probably gonna have 3 reps. For
Maybe
Smash
4.
Tour, just on invitation alone, and then depending on how Bin does at events soon, maybe Nick, he wins a Rambat, he wins Big Cheese, maybe. But it's like we've currently got basically 3 people guaranteed for Smash World Tour.
It's pretty good.
So it's like
That's actually insane. Like,
yeah, I know that blew my mind as well when we looked at the data.
Actually insane thinking about that.
Having Phantom and Bam specifically, it was
Having
like
3 people get like so the way I envisioned like the chance to go overseas, I've always thought this was like a not once in a lifetime, but almost like
once a game, maybe
once in a game sort of like thing.
Yeah.
And then now like this is happening so much more often, and this is so valuable, like insanely valuable. So I'm just like so happy for you guys, and just being like just realizing that like this is so much experience. Like this is fucking crazy. When we better milk it. Like,
that's why I want to learn some of these top tiers before I go. Just because if I play against them, I just don't want to get shit on in neutral again. That felt so bad. The one thing that's kind of scaring me though is after Korea, I'm a bit low on finances, but I am starting to work now. But it's like
the grilled.
Yeah, the grilled. But I'm also like still genuinely like terrified, just because it's like I'm terrified because I don't know what to like. If they don't pay for me to go out there basically in full, I don't think I will be able to go.
Gotta start saving.
Because I've only got like $1,000 right now, and that's like not even a one-way flight.
I think Gimmer chops.
Yeah, if Gimmer does not chop, Twitter is hearing it.
Twitter
is hearing it. Cancel Gimmer party.
Anyways,
That's not.
I have to go. I'm going to Pixel.
Yeah, me too.
It's been a long F.
Yeah.
Bradley,
sorry. Pixel.
Yeah.
It's 4 o'clock. It takes me like 2 hours to get there.
You could still chop.
Does it?
It starts at 7.
Oh, how am I getting home? Like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. Hey, I've got $100.
Hey, you can win it.
I could just win it, but you never know.
I'll pay for your entry.
Nah, I don't want to. I just don't think I'll go. Not the vibe.
That's fine.
Fair. All right, that's the career app done.
The Korea.
Thank you so much for listening.
A lot of stuff
Yeah,
to talk
whoopsies.
And
that's good.
we'll probably have
2.5 hours.
a different kind of international episode next time.
Others.
So,
Yeah, we get Seb to join them.
see how it goes. All right.
Seb can replace Bin.
True, because Bin's gonna be.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.